Hello, everybody. Welcome again to italki's live sessions. Today we are studying English. Okay, it's the second last day, so tomorrow is the last one. I'm glad that you could join us on this our second last day. Thank you to those who have been with us from the very beginning. Thank you. Okay, this is all for you. So thank you very much for joining us. As you may already know, my name is Yemi, and I'm originally from Barbados and currently living in Japan, where I work at a high school as well as on italki. Okay, so please feel free to drop a comment in the chat. Tell me, where are you from? Tell me your name and where are you from? Okay. I'd like to get to know who is here today. Who is here today? Okay, so feel free to say your name and where you are from. Okay, so today we are studying social issues. For those of you who joined me last week, we had lots of time studying social issues. Today we're going to talk about communication. Okay, our social issue for today is going to be communication. All right, so let's look at my screen so we can find out about communication. Let's get started thinking and talking about the social issues. Today we're looking at communication. All right, so um, why are we talking about social issues? Just a preface for anyone who hasn't been here before. We talk about them, first of all, for tests, because every most tests now are scaled according to the Cepher scale, which is the Common European Framework of Reference, and that has different levels from A1 to C2. In the higher levels, we tend to think that you need to be able to talk about issues that are affecting people. Okay, so in the B2, C1, C2 levels of any language test these days, you will find that you have to discuss an issue that affects people. You might have to do that by speaking. Okay, in a speaking test, you might have to do that by writing an essay, or you might have to do that while you read about some issue and answer questions. Okay. You might also have to do that in a business context, talk about social issues at work with foreign businessmen, or if you work in an international company, with your colleagues as well. Okay. And you might talk about it with friends, English speaking friends, if something is topical. So if there's something in the news, you might be talking about it with your friends. Okay. So, yeah, just feel free again, once again, to drop a comment in the chat. Let me know who's here. Tell me your name and your country. Okay. All right. So the way we do this social issues class, the way I do this social issues class, is that first I prepare a listening text. Okay. And you listen to the text and try to catch some things about what I've said. Okay. And then we will look at the text together, read through it, look at any difficult words, and then we will discuss the topic that we looked at in our text. Okay. So let's get started with the listening. Okay. So today's listening, it's about different languages. So all of you are language learners. That's why you're here. So this topic hopefully should be of interest. Okay. Our questions for the topic are: what does septilingual mean? Okay, it's a term that was made up, but what does it mean? Maybe if you speak Latin languages, Romance languages, you already can guess what it means, but listen to the passage and find out. What are the seven languages, and what are the language learning tips? What are the language learning tips? So you're going to hear some language learning tips. Please try to catch them, okay? So we're just going to go into our listening. Let's say hi to some people before we do that. Hi, let's see. We've got Bluebird. Hello from Lebanon. Ooh, I think this is the first time I've had Lebanon. Welcome. Kira from Germany. Carl says hi. Ebert says hi. Tajul. Hi, Grazia from Italy. I think we've seen each other before. Hi, Katerina. Hello again. And Eduardo. Hi from Spain. How old are my students? My students are between 15 and 18 at the high school. Okay, 15 and 18 at the high school. All right, so now we are going to go into a listening. All right, so get your ears all ready. We're going to talk about language learning. So please listen and try to catch these three things. What does septilingual mean? What are the seven languages? And what are the language learning tips in this piece? Okay, listen. Language tips from a septilingual. First off, what's a septilingual? It's a word I made up using sept for seven and lingua for language. You see, I can use seven languages: English, French, Spanish, Italian, Japanese, Brazilian Portuguese, and Korean. Today, I'd like to share some tips. Listen a lot. Listening is the language skill you have the least control over. So it's the one that needs the most practice. Find short videos on or web series on YouTube, or watch longer series on Amazon, Hulu, or Netflix. It's important to listen to native speakers. Read a lot. When you learn words through reading, it's easier to remember them. Big hint: read nonfiction. The first book I read in Japanese was Harry Potter. One, not only was it difficult, but two, there are a lot of words I'll never use. Talk to yourself. Talking to a foreigner or a teacher may be scary, difficult, and costly. So how can you improve your speaking? Make a list of questions and practice answering them. Practice grammar structures. Many people memorize grammar structures, but you need to be able to use the grammar to speak and write naturally. Pick a pattern and write a list of sentences. Have fun. Have you ever heard of someone who became very good at something they hate? If you like cars, read about cars in the other language. Watch documentaries about cars. I love TV. So foreign language TV is a big part of my study. And with seven languages, I must say it works. Okay, so that was our listening. Were you able to catch? Please write down, what does a septilingual mean? What are the seven languages? And what are the language learning tips? Could you catch these things? Could you catch these things? So let's see. Hello, Meran. And hello, Luca. Were you able to catch any of these? What does septilingual mean? What are the seven languages? And what are the language learning tips? So please feel free to write in the comments if you caught any of the answers. Did you catch any of the answers? Of course, if you're just joining us, feel free to write your name and your country in the chat. Okay, feel free to leave your name and your country in the chat so I can say hello and so I can know who is here. So, any idea what does septilingual mean? What are the 7 languages? What are the language learning tips? Were you able to catch it? Were you able to catch it? Okay. Welcome again for anyone who's joining us. Today is the second last day. Tomorrow is our last day of italki live classes on YouTube and the italki page. Thank you for joining us on this, our second last day. Okay, Ekaterina says English, French, Spanish, Italian, Korean, and 2 others she doesn't remember. Yes. Okay, so those ones are all right. Okay. And anybody else? Miran says, could you please repeat the answer? So I haven't said the answer. I haven't said the answer yet. We're still waiting for people to answer. Try answering. Um, Nar- Narla, hi Narla, says septilingual equals speak 7 languages. Okay. And Grazia also says septilingual speaks 7 languages. Okay. So let's look at the passage and see if we can find out the rest of these answers. Okay. So, language tips from a septilingual. First off, what's a septilingual? It's a word I made up using sept for 7 and lingua for language. You see, I can use 7 languages: English, French, Spanish, Italian, Japanese, Brazilian Portuguese, and Korean. Today I'd like to share some tips. Listen a lot. Listening is the language skill you have the least control over. So it's the one that needs the most practice. Find short videos on YouTube or web series on YouTube, or watch longer series on Amazon, Hulu, or Netflix. It's important to listen to native speakers. Read a lot. When you learn words through reading, it's easier to remember them. Big hint, read nonfiction. The first book I read in Japanese was Harry Potter. Not only was it difficult, but there were a lot of words I'll never use. Talk to yourself. Talking to a foreigner or a teacher may be scary, difficult, and costly. So, how can you improve your speaking? Make a list of questions and practice answering them. Practice grammar structures. Many people memorize grammar structures, but you need to be able to use the grammar to speak and write naturally. Pick a pattern and write a list of sentences. Have fun. Have you ever heard of someone who became good at something they hate? If you like cars, read about cars in the other language. Watch documentaries about cars. I love TV. So foreign language TV is a big part of my study. And with 7 languages, I must say it works. Okay, so this is the original passage. Yes, Ekaterina 3 is listening, short videos, listen to native speakers, reading more, and practicing grammar. Yes. Okay, Alex, 안녕하세요. How are you? 안녕하십니까? Hi, are you in Korea, Alex? Okay, so let's see. Um, any difficult words? We're going to go through these words in a second. Let's just check the answer. So we already got, what does septilingual mean? It's made up from sept and lingua, which means 7 languages. Okay. Sept and lingua. So usually we don't say the word septilingual. Okay. It's not a word you can find in a dictionary. We say monolingual. Mono meaning one. So we saw mono several times in the past week. We saw monopoly, meaning having one company or one person, only one option in an industry. We saw monotone, which was speaking in one tone in a flat voice like this, no up and down. That's a monotone. Okay, so we saw mono, we saw monarchy, which means one group of people running a country, like a king and queen. Okay, mono. And then we have bilingual, meaning two. Bicycle has two wheels, right? So bi is two. Bilingual meaning two, and trilingual meaning three. Tricycle has three wheels. Okay, the tri-state area in the U.S. is three states: New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey. So tri means three. And usually that's as far as we go. Next one we say is multilingual, many languages, multi meaning many. But I made up septilingual. By the way, I wrote this article. So this article first appeared in a newspaper, a Japanese newspaper for English learners. So I actually wrote this article. It's about me. So septilingual is a word I made up. Okay, the languages: English, French, Spanish, Italian, Japanese, Brazilian, Portuguese, and Korean. I think there are some differences between Brazilian Portuguese and Portuguese from Portugal, which is why I mentioned Brazilian Portuguese. Okay, and the language tips: listen a lot. For me, listening is really important. I think I start my language from my ears. Okay, so I think people are different and what you like will be different. But for me, listening a lot is a big deal. Read a lot. Okay, so for Japanese, this is difficult because the letters are not Roman letters. So I haven't read so much actually. But when you read, good idea to read nonfiction because there are lots of words in fiction that are not real. So I read Harry Potter, and so I know the Japanese word for wand, okay, which is the stick that we use to cast a spell, is called a wand. I have never used that word, okay? I don't know when I would use it. Okay. Oh, Alex, you taught yourself Hangul in 1 hour. Wow, congrats. Uh, yes, Alex. Some people say polyglot. I don't actually like the term polyglot for myself, so I don't use it. Okay. Let's see. Lily says hi. Can I scroll through the tips? So we're going through the tips now, so maybe it's okay. Okay. Yes, not only was it difficult, I said about Harry Potter, because I learned a lot of words I will never use. And talking to yourself. Okay, if you're at home by yourself, if you're in the shower, you can make sentences, okay, anywhere that you're by yourself, because when you have a teacher, you can't have a teacher every day for 5 hours. Okay, you have other things to do. You have, it costs a lot of money. Okay, maybe you can't go to the country. You don't know any foreign people. So, talking to yourself is a good way to practice. Make questions, make a speech by yourself is a good start for practicing. Okay, you can get more time to talk. And practice a grammar structure. Okay, so this article I said was written for Japan. Japan memorizes a lot of grammar. So they know a lot of things, but they don't use it. So they can't do a lot of things. Okay, so it's important to try doing. Okay, when you memorize grammar, try doing something with it. And of course, for me, I think it's important to have fun. Okay, so if you only look at grammar lists and vocabulary lists, it may be very boring. You don't want to do it. Find something you like and do it in another language. Okay, if you like to cook, watch and you're learning Italian, watch Italian recipe shows on YouTube. Try the recipes. In this way, you have something fun to do. Okay, for me, I like TV, so I watch lots of movies and TV. All right, so let's look at our vocabulary. So first we have make up. This is a phrasal verb. Okay, sometimes people have trouble with phrasal verbs. In our article today, it's a word I made up. Okay, made up. So make up means to create something in your imagination. Okay, Create something in your imagination. Okay, this is not going to, okay. And it also has another meaning. For example, the UK is made up of England, Scotland, North Ireland, and Wales. Okay, it means to have uh, parts, certain parts. So makeup has at least two meanings. Okay, tip is a hint or something to help you do something. Okay. Costly is the same as expensive. Structure just means the way something is put together. So we can use it for building. Okay, it has a very sturdy structure. Okay, it's a nice looking structure. And we can also use it for grammar, the structure of the sentence. Okay, for example, English and Latin languages have the same structure of subject, verb, and object. Okay, I, subject, who does the thing, like, what are you doing? Pasta. Okay, what do you like? So subject, verb, object. Japanese has a different structure: subject, object, verb. Okay, so structure is just the way something is put together. Sound is the noise coming from your mouth, from anything, from cars, from trains. That is sound. Anything we can hear is sound. A vowel, in English, the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. Sorry, the I has been autocorrected to a large I. Okay. And the consonants are everything else. B, C, D, F, G, H, all of those are consonants. Pronunciation is how we say words, okay? And a hack, so this is going to come up in our questions. A hack is a trick you do to make something easier, okay? So we might recently people say life hacks. What do you do to make life easier? Something you do, okay? All right. Any more vocabulary that you do not understand? If not, let's go into our discussion questions. So, which tips do you agree with? We had listen a lot, read a lot, find something you like, practice your grammar structures, talk to yourself. Which do you agree with? Do you agree with all? Is one of them difficult for you? What do you think? Please write in the chat. What language hacks do you have? Remember, I said hack is something you do to make it easier. Okay, so what's a language hack? For me, for example, I always listen to foreign language CDs in my car, which means that I am not actively studying the language, but I can hear the language every day. It's about 20 minutes to my workplace. So I hear for 20 minutes going to work and 20 minutes coming home. Okay, so what is a language hack you have? Okay, this is a hack for me. I get comfortable. And which language skill is most difficult for you? Okay, so we have 4 language skills: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Which is most difficult for you? Which do you have the most trouble with? Okay, so please let me know in the comments. Okay, Katerina says practice grammar and do exercises. Okay, so that's a tip from Ekaterina, maybe agreeing with practicing the grammar structure. Yes. Yes, so I think practicing grammar obviously is important. Like I said, it's my article, so you already know what I think is important. So please tell me in the comments, which tips do you agree with? And what language hacks do you have? Which language skill is most difficult for you? Do you have trouble with writing or speaking or listening or reading? Okay. I think in the beginning, listening is quite tough because you have to get used to the language. You have to get used to different sounds that don't exist Okay. For example, in Korean, there are three different ways of doing a K, and that doesn't exist in English or Japanese. So it takes a long time to get my ears used to which one is it. Okay. What about you? What's difficult? So, Beatrice's grammar, yes. Katerina says, try listening. Yes, it's the most difficult for her. Yes. So for me, early on, it's the most difficult. But because I watch so much TV, then it gets to be the easiest because I do it the most. Okay. I drive in my car with songs, I watch things on TV. So it gets to be the easiest actually for me. Gratia says, have fun. Yes, she agrees with have fun. Listening a lot. And speaking is the most difficult for her. Speaking is the most difficult for Grazia. Lucas is speaking because I don't have time to think about the grammar. Yes, so I think that's why it's so important to practice speaking. I don't think you have to practice writing so much because you can take time and write. You can write and then you can check every single sentence with a dictionary and a grammar book. But when you speak, you have 1, 2, 3 seconds. Okay. If you stop for 10 seconds in a conversation, the other person will continue talking. Okay. So you won't have a chance to speak. So speaking needs to be fast. Yes. Lucas says we create our logic based on supporting minimum points, and then we use. It says param, but I'm not sure what that means. We have to calculate the best positions of every pin. So if you can elaborate a bit, Luca, I didn't understand some of what you said. Marina says writing a dictation. I think that's her tip. Okay. No problem, Luca. Copy and paste. Yes. Meran says using integrated grammar and use it actively when speaking. So try to put the grammar, various grammar together. And when you're talking, make sure to use it. Beatrice says she tries to watch English movies and series. Okay. So it's good for listening, but you can't practice speaking. Yes. So speaking is actually, I think, the most difficult to practice, okay, because you can listen all day long. Now we have the internet and there are free resources for any country. All you have to do is find an online news channel or online or YouTuber, famous YouTuber. There are free language resources for every language that has more than maybe 20 speakers, you can find on YouTube, okay? So it's easy to practice listening. It's easy to sit with a grammar book and practice writing. It's easy to read because, again, just search something on the internet. But speaking is the one you have to work at. So because you don't come into native contact with native speakers easily, I recommend talking to yourself when you can. Also, we have italki, so you can take a class on italki so that you can talk to a native speaker, even from your country. Okay. All right. And let's see. Alex says he's learning Chinese, he or she, I'm not sure. Um, Chinese, and everything in Chinese is hard. Really? Tones, reading, and writing. I think tones are hard. I will give you tones. But maybe because I already speak Japanese, for me, reading and writing is super, super easy. And the grammar in Chinese is super easy. So I like Chinese. Okay, so let's move on to our next listening. Okay, we're going to talk about dialects and languages. Okay, dialects and languages. What are the dialects and languages that are mentioned? Okay, and what are some differences between dialects? Okay, how can you tell that something is a dialect? This and this are different. Okay, what are some of the differences they say? So, two questions. What are the dialects and languages mentioned? There are many. So, catch as many as you can. Okay, maybe there are 20. I don't know. Lots and lots of dialects. And what are the differences in dialects? So, let's listen to this passage and try to catch the answers to these questions. Japanese and the Okinawan language are related, as they are Japanic languages, but they are not mutually intelligible. When Japan took over Okinawa during the Meiji era, the Japanese government called the Okinawan language a dialect of Japanese. This was used to forbid Okinawans from speaking Okinawan and force them to Japanese. Catalan and Galician used to be considered as dialects of Spanish, but are now recognized as languages. They are about as near to Portuguese and to Occitan, respectively, as they are to Spanish. Hindu and Urdu are called different languages today, but they used to be the same language, Hindustani. After Pakistan became separate from India, Hindustani became called Urdu in Pakistan and Hindi in India. However, speakers of both can understand each other if they are using everyday speech. The two languages are use different writing systems, but writing systems are not an accurate way to decide if languages are related. English is definitely a language, but it was once Anglo Saxon, a dialect of Old Saxon. Chinese is called a language, but it has hundreds of dialects, such as Mandarin, Cantonese, Wu, and Hokkien. Many of them are not mutually intelligible. Differences in dialects can be words. People in England go to church, but in Scotland, people go to kirk. Pronunciation. The R of creatures is silent in most of England, but is pronounced by most of the United States. Grammar. Instead of I dived, some people say I dove. Okay, so what were you able to catch about dialects? What were you able to catch about dialects? Okay, what are the languages and dialects mentioned? And what are some differences in dialects? Okay, so Alex says, do dialects have to be mutually intelligible? That's an interesting question because dialects, to this day, all of linguists do not agree. What is a dialect? We don't agree, okay? So people have different definitions. And after we read the passage, we will talk about what your definition of a dialect is. What do you think is a dialect? Okay. So, what are the dialects and languages mentioned? What dialects or languages did you hear? Write as many as you heard, okay? And what are some differences in dialects? So, Ekaterina says for differences in dialects, we have words, pronunciation, and grammar, okay? Words, pronunciation, and grammar. Perfect. How about what languages and dialects did you hear? Lots and lots of languages and dialects. Yes, so Alex says he asked about dialects because there is a debate about Chinese dialects. Yes, I think, for example, I'm learning Chinese as well. I'm learning Mandarin, but I usually cannot understand Cantonese, but I understand some Mandarin. So I think they're very different. On the other hand, I speak Spanish because I learned Spanish at university. And I went to Portugal in university. Well, I went to two universities. So in my first university, I went to Portugal. And I could not speak any Portuguese. And I spoke to everyone in the shops. I ordered food and I was fine. Okay. And that is with zero Portuguese. So I just muddled some Spanish. I learned one Portuguese word, which is falar, because it's very different from the Spanish hablar. They both mean to speak. So I learned falar and that was it. And I went to Portugal and used muddled Spanish, and it was fine. But Spanish and Portuguese are two different languages, while Mandarin and Cantonese are the same language. So, yes, how do you define dialects? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Grazia says Japanese, Okinawan, Catalan, Occitan, Hindu. Pakistan is not a language, it's a place, but okay. English, Anglo Saxon, and Chinese. Yes, so those are some of the dialects and languages mentioned. And we had words, pronunciation, and grammar. Perfect, Gracia. Okay, let's look at the passage. Okay, Japanese and the Okinawan language are related as there are Japonic languages, but they are not mutually intelligible. When Japan took over Okinawa during the Meiji era, the Japanese government called the Okinawan language a dialect of Japanese. This was used to forbid Okinawans from speaking Okinawan and to force them to, I will add speak here, to speak Japanese. Catalan and Galician used to be considered as dialects of Spanish, but now they're recognized as languages. They're about as near to Portuguese and to Occitan, respectively, as they are to Spanish. Hindi and Urdu are called different languages today, but they used to be the same language, Hindustani. After Pakistan became separate from India, Hindustani became called Urdu in Pakistan and Hindi in India. However, speakers of both can understand each other if they are using everyday speech. The two languages use different writing systems, but writing systems are not an accurate way to decide if languages are related. English is definitely a language, but it was once was Anglo-Saxon, a dialect of Old Saxon. Chinese is called a language, but has hundreds of dialects, such as Mandarin, Cantonese, Wu, and Hokkien. Many of them are not mutually intelligible. Differences in dialects can be words. People in England go to church. People in Scotland go to kirk. I have no idea how to pronounce that, so I'm making that up. Don't worry. Pronunciation of the R in creatures. Okay, so in England, people mostly don't say the R, creatures. So it's like there's no R. And in the United States, it's pronounced creatures. Okay. Grammar, instead of I dived, some people say I dove. Okay, so any difficult words, we're going to go through some vocabulary in a second. Hi, Carol, how are you doing? Konnichiwa, Pietro. Genki desu ka? Nice to see you. Okay. So, any difficult words, we're going to go into our vocabulary in a second. Any difficult words for this passage that if I don't say it, please write it in the comments. Oh, nice to see you're doing well, Carol. Okay. So today's vocabulary, language and dialect. Okay, as I told Alex, the definition of these two words is difficult. Depending on who you ask, you'll get a different response. So a language in general is just a means, what we use to communicate with other people in our area. Okay, dialect is thought to be a smaller bit of that language. Okay, so dialects will have many of the same grammatical features, many of the same structures, many of the same words, but they have some differences, which might be, as we saw in the passage, might be some words that we use that are different. Okay, for example, if we look at a drink, a soft drink, some people say soft drink, some people say pop, some people say soda. Depending on where you are in the US, in the UK, in the world, people have different words for it. Pronunciation, okay. Some people say like the R disappears, bar and ba, okay. Some places say T like D, okay, 50, 50, okay. So pronunciation might change. And grammar, some words might change, some spelling might change, all of this, okay. So yes, language and dialect is complicated, but we will get your definitions in a second. Era, Meiji era. We talked about the Meiji era in this passage. So era is just a long period of time. Okay. Um, Here in Japan, we still recognize eras. In fact, we just had an era change last year. So we changed the era now. Before we didn't, but now we changed the era with the emperor. Okay, so we have a new emperor since last year. It's a new era. It's the second year of a new era. So, yeah, that's what era means. Respectively. Respectively means of the two things, this for this for this. Okay. Let's see. So I took a test. I took a test last year and the year before. I got 90 points and 95 points in those respective years. Okay. So 90 for one year, 95 for the next. That's what respectively means. Okay. And mutually intelligible. Mutually means both sides. Okay. Intelligible means can be understood. So if a language is mutually intelligible, Spanish and Portuguese are mutually intelligible. If a Spanish speaker speaks slowly to a Portuguese speaker, they can understand. Okay. Some words are different, but they can understand. Okay. That's mutually intelligible. Okay. And grammar, grammatical means the way that the rules of a language. Grammatical is just the adjective. Okay. Vocabulary means the words in a language. And pronunciation means the way we say sounds. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for me, for example, I have a dialect. It's called Bajan. We talked about it last time. Jack asked me to speak a little bit of Bajan, and we can say the same exact sentence, okay? And the pronunciation is different, okay? So it's quite different. Anyone have any more vocabulary set questions? Yes, Marina. Okinawan and Japanese are related. Spanish has Galician and Catalonian. Hindustani became separate to Hindi and Urdu. And Chinese has about 100 dialects. Good job, Marina. Good job. Oh, genki desu ne. Hi, Pietro. Nice to meet you. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Okay, so let's look at our discussion questions. What is your definition of a dialect? Okay, so Alex asked earlier about dialects. What do you think makes something a dialect and not a language? So, in my mind, I think Chinese, Mandarin, and like Hokkien or Cantonese are different languages. And honestly, I think Spanish and Portuguese are different dialects, maybe one language, different dialects, because they're so close. Okay. How about, is there anything in your country you think of as a dialect? What do you think of as a dialect? And is it difficult for you to understand different dialects of English? So if someone has a strong Texan accent or a strong Welsh accent or a strong Australian accent, how difficult is that for you to understand? Okay. Let's see if you have any ideas about these discussion questions. What is your definition of a dialect? Are there any dialects in your country? And is it difficult to understand different dialects of English? What do you think? What do you think? Any ideas for these three questions? Any ideas for these three? Any ideas for these three? Any ideas? So What is your definition of a dialect? Pietro says London dialect is really difficult for him. The London dialect is really difficult for him. So I think when I'm a native speaker, I don't have I maybe I am strange, but I don't have problems with dialects at all. I understand everybody in English. I said maybe once before I told this story in a different class, but we had a Jamaican come to a study group when we were in school. We were discussing literature, and he said he made a comment, and I responded to his comment. Everyone else in the group was from Barbados, and they all looked at me. You can understand him? So I don't have any problem understanding anybody speaking English. But some people have a lot of problems speaking, understanding even people speaking their native language with a strong accent. Yes, Marina says it's difficult for her to understand different dialects. Carol says a dialect is spoken only in a region. For example, in Italy, we have a lot of dialects with different words and different pronunciation, and it's difficult to understand. Okay, yes. Any more ideas about dialects? What is your definition? Are there any dialects in your country? And is it difficult to understand different dialects of English? What do you think? What do you think? Hmm. Okay. All right. If there are no more ideas about dialects, I don't think there are any more ideas about dialects. Let's get into, I think this will be our last passage for the day. Okay, one more passage. So we're going to talk about communication in general. What is communication? Okay, so let's listen to some ideas about what communication is. For your questions, two questions. What kinds of media can we use to communicate? So, what ways can we use to pass a message to someone else? Okay, what kinds of media? Media is just a way to pass something to someone else. And what are the three parts? They mentioned three stages of communication: this, then this, then this. What are those three parts of communication? Okay, what are those three parts of communication? All right, let's listen to our passage about dialects. Sorry, about communication this time. Communication is when information is passed from a sender to a recipient using a medium. There are different media that can be used: visual communication using body language or gestures, communication with sound like human language, but may also be the barking of a dog, communication using touch, using smell, and using writing. Communication can be spoken, a word, or non spoken, a smile. Communication has many ways and happens all the time. Not only humans communicate, but most other animals do too. Some communication is done without thinking, such as by changing in posture. Communication works by exchanging information or messages. In very basic terms, one, the sender makes a message from an idea. This is usually called encoding. Two, the sender transmits the message through the medium. Three, the recipient receives the message and decodes it. For a message exchange to be successful, the sender and the recipient must have agreed on a vocabulary. For example, the word hedge can mean completely different things based on the context. In biology, a hedge is a row of shrubs or trees that make a barrier or form a border. In finance, a hedge is an investment made to reduce the risk of another investment. In linguistics, a hedge is a word or set of words that make other words less important. Without any information, it is therefore very difficult to know which hedge is really meant by the speaker. Okay, so let's look at our listening questions. We have what kinds of media can we use to communicate, and what are the three parts of communication? All right, so let's check some comments from the last question. Marina says Luxembourgish and German are related. Mhm. In Ukraine, many people use surgica when Russian words with wrong pronunciation. Ah, okay. So they use Russian words, but they change the pronunciation, making it like a dialect of Russian, maybe. Okay, thank you, Ekaterina. Pietro says Skype is the best. Okay. And Marina says Luxembourgish was a dialect of German and then became a language. Okay, so like English. So English was a dialect of old Anglo-Saxon. Anglo-Saxon was a dialect of old Saxon. And now English is a language, okay, and has many dialects of its own. All right, so what kinds of media can we use to communicate? Okay, I think they gave 5. And what are the 3 parts that make up a communication? What are the 3 parts that make up a communication? Okay, so let's look at these questions. Okay, all right, so if you have the answers, please feel free to write them. I'm going to go into reading our passage. Communication is when information is passed from a sender to a recipient using a medium. There are different media that can be used. Visual communication using body language or gestures. Communicating with sounds like human language, but may also be the barking of the dog. Communication using touch, using smell, using writing. Communication can be spoken, a word, or non-spoken, a smile. Communication has many ways and happens all the time. Not only humans communicate, most other animals do too. Some communication is done without thinking, such as by changing in posture. Communication works by exchanging information or messages. In very basic terms, 1, the sender makes a message from an idea. This is usually called encoding. 2, the sender transmits the message through the medium. 3, the recipient receives the message and decodes it. For a message exchange to be successful, the sender and the recipient must have agreed on a vocabulary. The word hedge can mean completely different things based on the context. In biology, a hedge is a row of shrubs or trees that make a barrier or form a border. In finance, a hedge is an investment made to reduce the risk of another investment. And in linguistics, a hedge is a word or set of words that make other words less important. Without any information, it is therefore very difficult to know which hedge is really meant by the speaker. Okay, so Carol said visual communication, sound, touch, and smell and writing. Good job. Spoken and non-spoken. Yes. And 2, one step of the communication process is called encoding. Yes. Okay, so any difficult words? Okay, any difficult words? So sender, I am the sender right now because I am speaking. Recipient, you are the recipient. You receive. Recipient is the person who receives this information. So I am speaking and you're receiving. You are the recipient. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's look at this vocabulary. So medium or media. Medium is a way to move something, okay? Media, we often see this with TV, but it's the plural. So one medium, many media, okay? I think it's from Greek. That's why it has the word plural. Medium, media, okay? Encode means to put something in code. So when I have a thought, I can't just take my thought and give it to you. I have to put that thought, that idea into words, into pictures, into something, and send it to you. You get my words, my pictures, whatever, and then you decode them. Decode them. So you take them back out of words and put them into a thought in your brain. Okay, so encode means to take the thought and make words. And decode means to take the words that you hear and make a thought. We have body language, which is just what we do with our body. We also have gestures. So gestures are things we usually do with our hands, like no, or good luck, or something. This is not good luck. Okay, good luck. Okay, those are gestures. And body language is things we do, usually unconscious with our body. So like if we like someone, we sit forward. If we're enjoying a conversation, we sit forward. If we don't like a conversation, sit back. Okay, that's body language. Posture is also the way we stand or sit. Okay. Facial expressions, what we're doing with our face. And nonverbal, things that we don't say. So body language, gestures, posture, facial expression, they're all nonverbal. Verbal is things we say. So let's go right into our discussion because we only have 3 more minutes. What are some barriers? So what stops communication? What stops communication? How important is nonverbal communication? Okay, so facial expression. Sometimes someone says something nice and their face is horrible. Like, you should go to the party with this face. And you think, I should not go to the party. So how important is nonverbal communication? Your face, your body language, your gestures, okay? And what is difficult about cross-cultural communication? For example, we have Italy, we have Luxembourg, we have Ukraine. So if the Ukrainian, Ekaterina, if he was trying to speak to our Marina from Luxembourg, would they have any problems? What would be difficult for them? Okay. So let's see. Miran says cultural differences, maybe for number 3, make it difficult for cross-cultural communication. Yeah, I agree. They said for a message exchange to be successful, the sender and the recipient must have agreed on a vocabulary. Okay, so you have to agree on what the word means. If I say chair, and I mean the head of a committee, the chairman, okay, the chair of the committee, but you think chair, then we can't have good communication. I think this is more of a problem with cross-cultural communication because we have many different ideas about things. So communication gets difficult. Any more ideas about communication? Carol says nonverbal communication sometimes is more important and have a deeper impact than a verbal one. Yes. Okay, so something as simple as a smile, okay, is nonverbal. And it might have a deeper impact, as Carol points out. Sorry, Marina is from Russia. Sorry, Marina. Okay, So Marina is from Russia. So maybe Marina and Ekaterina will have no problem because Russia and Ukraine have similar culture, a lot of similar things. Okay. But if you have different cultures, what is difficult to communicate? What makes it difficult to communicate? And how is nonverbal communication important? What are some barriers to communication? So let's go through some of these quickly. I'll give you about 1 more minute. Some barriers to communication might be, for example, language. I speak English as a native speaker. Many of you don't. So the language could be a barrier. Different ideas. Okay, so this ties into cross cultural. My idea as a Barbadian may be different from your idea as a Chinese, a Russian, a Ukrainian, Italian, a Spaniard. Okay, and so that could be a barrier. Okay, there could be physical barriers where you can't hear well or can't see something well. Okay, those are some barriers to communication. Okay, or if you are just not very good at expressing yourself because of your personality. Okay, it's difficult for you to talk to people. That could be a barrier as well. Carol says some barriers can be the language. Yes, if you're not fluent, or so, for example, English speakers use a lot of slang and a lot of phrasal verbs. So even if you have a good level of English, there can be words that you know used in a different way. So I think that's a big barrier for a non native speaker. Okay, and Miran says universal gestures and postures. Yes, so sometimes gestures. I did this for okay. This is in Japanese means money. In some countries, it's a very bad gesture. So, so sometimes it's completely different what gestures mean. And you have to be careful across countries, across cultures, using gestures. Okay. For when we say I in English, we do this. In Japanese, they kind of point at their nose. Okay. Um, and let's see. Yes. So Marina says if you understand all the words, but don't understand the meaning. So this is a big thing, I think. Let me stop sharing. We're going to wrap up now. But if you understand the words and don't know the meaning, sometimes the words you understand each word in a sentence, but you can't understand the sentence. So that's a big one. I think that's a great one, Marina. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So that is all for our lesson on communication today. That's all for our lesson on communication today. Tomorrow, we are going to look at social issues again. I think we're going to do sociology and psychology. So talking about the way people think, the way people act in society in general. So just the manner, the behavior of people, the thoughts of people, okay? And I will be back with you at 11:30 tomorrow, GMT +2, 11:30 tomorrow for social issues. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope I'll see you again tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your day. See you later.
Las personas nativas dispuestas a ayudarte a practicar el idioma que desees aprender. Los usuarios con tiempo libre se mostrarán disponibles para recibir llamadas y de esta forma ganarán recompensas ayudando a otros usuarios. Así es como conectamos personas de forma colaborativa y gratuita en nuestra aplicación. Únete a nuestra comunidad, haz nuevos amigos y mejora en todos los idiomas que quieras. Descarga Lingvi y practiquemos juntos.
Este es Peter. Está aprendiendo chino. Ha intentado estudiar por su cuenta con libros, tarjetas de vocabulario y aplicaciones móviles, pero sigue teniendo problemas para hablar. Esta es María. Le encanta aprender inglés, pero no tiene oportunidades para ponerlo en práctica. Con italki, Peter y María pueden recibir clases personales online para hablar con fluidez en otro idioma. Tú también puedes aprender un idioma en italki. Empieza hoy en 3 simples pasos. Primero, elige un idioma: inglés, alemán, chino, francés, japonés. Italki tiene profesores para cualquier idioma. Segundo, escoge un profesor. Con Italki puedes escoger entre miles de profesores con experiencia de todo el mundo. Tercero, elige el horario de tu lección. Las clases de idiomas online son el mejor método para aprender con profesores nativos. Con Italki tendrás un profesor de idiomas personal y conversaciones reales con hablantes nativos. Cada día miles de personas aprenden con profesores internacionales a través de italki. Encuentra un profesor hoy y domina el idioma de tu lección.
Hi everyone, it's Vicente and I teach Spanish on italki.com. And today we will be talking about 3 grammar rules to follow when you start learning Spanish. The first one is that, as you have already heard, Spanish verbs are always conjugated. That means that they have to match with the subject of the sentence. For example, there are different pronouns in Spanish. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, and ellos, ellas, y ustedes. All these pronouns have their own conjugations, and it's very common for beginners to mix them up. So remember this. When you start to conjugate the verbs, they have to match. The second rule is very important as well. The Spanish nouns and adjectives has to be in the same level. Let me explain you this. If you have a noun that is feminine and plural, for example, las mujeres, the adjective that you have to use right after the noun has to be feminine and plural as well. For example, las mujeres españolas. It is the same with the articles las, female and plural. We use this article because, as I say, it's female and plural. The third rule I already mentioned before, and be careful, English speakers, because the adjectives in Spanish go after the noun, not before like in English. This is very common for students that learn Spanish and already speak or know English. When I say it, las mujeres españolas, españolas is the adjective, and I put it after las mujeres. In English, it would be the Spanish woman, but not in Spanish. Okay, there are some occasions where the adjectives go before the nouns. That is true, but normally this use comes out at intermediate level or advanced level, so do not worry when you are a beginner. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the italki YouTube channel over here. Take a lesson with me on italki.com by clicking on my teacher profile link in the description. ¡Hasta luego! Hi everyone, it's Vicente and I teach Spanish on italki.com. And today I will be talking about 7 Spanish words that are similar to their English counterpart. These words are also known as cognates. What a cognate is? A cognate is a word that has the same linguistic derivation that another word, and it looks similar, and when you pronounce it, it sounds almost the same. And here I will give you 7 cognates so you can use them in Spanish as well. The first one is alcohol in Spanish. Guess you know what it means, because it sounds pretty similar than in English, doesn't it? Number 2 is conclusión. This one has a different pronunciation in Spanish, but you will understand definitely when you start learning Spanish. Number 3, hobby. This one is completely similar. We basically took this word from English. Number 4, individual. Of course, it's the same word, just different pronunciation. The next one, number 5, is piercing. Yes, we use this word with the same pronunciation and meaning. Next one, number 6, is informal. I like to use this one in my lessons to explain ways to greet and say goodbye because it's similar in English and is a word that the students understand very quickly. And the last are some words related to sports. If you're learning Spanish and you like sports, you're lucky because most of the words are cognates like football, tennis, baseball, volleyball, hockey, water polo, golf, surf, and so on. As you can see, almost all sports are cognates. So, talking about your hobbies should not be difficult. As you can see, there are many, and I would like to remember you that there are hundreds of cognates, and if you check them, you can be ready to your first Spanish lesson. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the italki YouTube channel for more tips on learning Spanish. Take a lesson with me on italki.com by clicking on my teacher profile link in the description. Hasta luego!
Hi everyone, it's Caroline here and I teach English on italki. Today I am going to be talking about business idioms or idioms you might hear in your office or in your workplace. A student asked me a really good question the other day. He asked me whether, because I'm a native English speaker, do I know every single idiom? And the answer is no. Idioms are phrases or expressions that come from a particular place or a particular age group. So idioms are different in the UK to idioms in the United States. I have chosen 5 business idioms to talk to you about today, and you may hear them in an office in the UK or in the States. So hopefully they will be super useful for you. Idiom number 1 is the big picture. Imagine you go into a meeting and your boss says to you, you've lost sight of the big picture. What does that mean? That means that you are thinking too much about the small details of the project, and you are so interested in those little details that you don't remember what it is you're trying to achieve. So always keep sight of the big picture. The second idiom is to go the extra mile. Now imagine you're in an interview and the interviewer says to you that they are looking for someone who always goes the extra mile. What does that mean? Does it mean they want you to run around the office every day? No, it means they want you to do more than just what is in the job description. They want you to go that little bit further and to take on extra responsibilities. That is going the extra mile. The third idiom is a win-win situation. A win-win situation means everybody gains something. A really good example of this is these videos that I'm making for italki. Italki gains some content for their website, some lessons for their learners, and I have a platform where students can see me and book lessons with me. It's a win-win. Italki wins and Caroline wins. The fourth idiom is word of mouth. So an example of this is, think about how you found out about italki. Did you find italki by searching on Google? Or did you find italki because one of your friends recommended it to you? Recommendations from friends are word of mouth. It can be positive or it can be negative. If your company gets bad word of mouth, it is going to be a very difficult time for your company because people really listen to the opinions of their friends. So make sure whatever you do, you have good word of mouth about it. The fifth and final business idiom is to touch base. My manager used to say this to me a lot. To touch base means to have a very quick and short meeting about a project or something that you are working on.
Okay, good. I just want to straighten this as much as I can. seems to be a bit skew. I don't know why. Anyway, welcome. Can you hear me? Is the audio good? Great, good. Bienvenidos. Hello, welcome. We're starting again. We're going back to the basics of pronunciation because I know how difficult it can be. So somebody requested it, so we're going back to pronouncing from the very beginning, okay? So you're welcome to just really engage with me on this and let me know that you're following. I'm going to create sentences and we're going to play some guessing games, okay? All right, so I will test your vocabulary. All right, now I want to say welcome to everybody. Please click the live comments or live chat button. If you're on the italki platform, it's the live chat button. And if you're on the YouTube platform, it is the live comments, not the top comments, not the top. Manuela, good morning. Hi, good to see you. Lovely that you're with us this morning. We're going to go through some basics in pronunciation. Hi, Carol. It's good to see you again. It's so interesting that you have the surname White when you're from the north of Italy. I don't know if you've just chosen that for the for the internet or what. Yeah, fantastic that you're here again, and I'm looking forward to practicing our English again. Issa, good morning. Let me see if there's anyone on the italki platform. No? Okay, it's lovely to have you, and I hope that we have some fun this morning. Okay, I'm sure that when we do the pronunciation, it's going to be challenging once again, but we're just going through it to practice because we need a lot of practice. Okay, so let's go to the vowels. Okay, so let's go to the slide, please. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to do that slightly. This is falling off or something. I'm going to push on the camera. It seems to be falling off. Okay, so we're going to go first through the sounds. The sounds. Okay. Christina Sivarova, hi. Where are you from, Christina? It's lovely to have you. You're from some sort of Slavic country. The ova makes me think that. I don't know. You tell me. Are you from some sort of Slavic place or not? Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. You can see my name is Karen, by the way, and I have wrapped up very warm because it is icy cold here. Our houses are not equipped for the cold, so we tend to just wrap up warm inside as well as outside. Which makes winter a little bit unpleasant with all the layers and that. From the Czech Republic. Good. Okay, good. It's lovely to have you with us. So we're going to do practice pronunciation. Some of you have done this before, some of you have not, but it's always good to keep on and on and on practicing, okay? So when I say something, you practice it at home and try and sound like me, okay? I'm going to teach you how to pronounce just the words. When we pronounce Joseph, you're from Slovakia, okay, Slovakia. I'm from South Africa, Joseph. It's good to have you with us. I don't know how to say welcome in either Czech or Slovak languages, so my apologies. But the rest of them, it's bienvenida or bienvenidos. I'm getting and benvenuti a todos. So I do get muddled between Spanish and Italian, I'm afraid. Ahoy, is that how you say it? Ahoy. Okay. I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation. You tell me if it's not. Okay, so Right, now we have our pronunciation, our simple A sound. Now that's one of the most difficult sounds for most languages. I don't know which language it is not difficult for. Okay, so A is a slightly open mouth, but wide sound. A, A. So your tongue is kind of flat, A, and behind your teeth, and viti, vite, vite. Is that right, vite? Yeah, good. I'm glad I got the correction right, vite. Welcome. Anyway, good. Thank you for teaching me these new words. All right, so your A sound is a flat sound, okay? Very flat. In English, we speak with a lot of breath in our mouths, okay? So we don't speak here. We sometimes start the sound here, but it comes forward. Most of the time, it does not come through our noses. And most of the time, it doesn't come through our palates either. The palate is the bone between your nose and your mouth. Okay? So we speak with a lot of air in our mouths, in our letters, t, rather than t, t, t. We say t and s and sh and p and v and l. It's very airy, like ballet, okay? Just think ballet when you're speaking English. But our vowel sounds are also more rounded, okay? Rounded. So we have cat, we have a smile when you say your a sounds. That will make it easy. Let's practice a. Good. I wish I could hear all of you. It would be quite fun, but we don't. Okay, so cat. All right. One of the first words, sentences you use in English is the cat sat on the mat. The cat sat on the mat. All right. Hat. Okay. Tap. That's what in England we call that the thing that you turn on for water to come out. In America, you say faucet. In England and in South Africa and everywhere else in the world, it's tap. Okay. All right. Fan. The fan. Nobody's using the fan in South Africa at the moment. It's too cold. And then apple. Apple. All right. Then we're going to move on to the A sound. So we got the A sound. Now we're going to A. All right. A. So it's from that you get it. You can see it's a kind of slidey sound. There's two sounds to it. A. All right. Make. Make. Just repeat after me. Hate. Hate. Able. Came. And tape. Well done. Okay, now you can see that even though there's not an E changing the middle vowel, making still follows the same sound. It's as though the E is there. All right, so making, hating, and taping. All right, so just to get the pattern. Remember, put your air into it. Pretend that you're speaking with a lot of marbles in your mouth, as they say. They used to actually practice with marbles in the mouth, but of course, that's quite dangerous. You might actually swallow a marble. Then they used to do it with marshmallows, but it just comes out, dribbles out. Just gross. So just pretend that you've got something in your mouth and you need to talk over it. Okay. All right, I'm going to just go through this. We have the A sounds, then we've got the A. I'm just giving you more words, even though the spelling is different. So great. So make great. Hate break. Able freight. And you can hear that in each word, depending what the letter is next to there. I'm just checking to see if anyone's on the italki platform. Yeah, not yet. So depending on the word next to it, the letter next to it, it does change it very slightly. Okay, I'm going to play a little game just now. We're just going to do a little conundrum game. Okay, we're just going to play that game again. All right, making, pray, then hating again, play, play. And notice my p is not, it's not strong, it's p. All right, p, p. Play, aim. And for some Spanish people from the north, you may struggle with the N's and the M's at the ends of words. Aim, in just certain regions. Okay. Wait. Good. Came, as we've done that. Faint. They. And this is a fun one. Who knows what GAOL means? It's I'll tell you how to pronounce it in a moment, but it's an alternative spelling. Who knows what it means? Let's just move on to the next one. All right. It means jail. It's the same word. You go to jail if you do something wrong in the country. It's just an older spelling, which is sometimes used, but I don't see it much anymore because it actually doesn't make much sense. I mean, GAOL, very strange. Okay. I am going to do something. Okay, so I'm going to look at this quickly. I'm looking for something because I'm going to play another game as well. All right, now, pet, we're doing the S sounds. Pet, pet. Okay. Get, get. All right. Wet. Right. Now, when you've got an L, the S sound changes. Okay, so it's not tell, it's tell, tell. Okay, you will see the dictionary says it's just an A. It's not. It's an L, L, L. All right, it's a kind of a two sounds. So when you have an L, your vowel sound always changes a little bit. Tell, well, and bell. Just repeat after me. Okay. All right, next one. Then we have our silent E, which changes the middle sound again. Okay. Just let me. Okay. Meme. It changes. Remember, meme. Meme. Meter. Bean. Bean. Eve. Keep. Team. And then B or B. All right. They both have the same length. They both have the same length. Just repeat after me, then we're going to do this little, I'm very quickly going to do this. Then once we finish this slide, I'll do the next. So, sound again, send. Read, as in past tense. So read and read are different. They're spelled exactly the same. Lovely English. Dead. Friend. Weather. Leather. Bream, it's a kind of fish. Bream. Now we're going to the E sounds. That's the I kind of thing in the brackets, the phonetic symbol. Okay. See. Eat. team, read, ski, yes, ski, it's the E sound, pizza, machine, and liter. All right, so, okay, then I'm going to the short sounds, bin, anything ing, okay, ing, lid, kiss, Italy, gym. Right, just repeat. So kill is not a long sound, so that's supposed to be pushed. But you can hear how the eel changes a bit. Kill, bill, build. I build a house. And then the long sounds are what I said, liter, machine, ski, and pizza. All right, just so that you know. Okay, I sounds, right? Wine, dime, time, dine, ice. So can you notice the others are all I, and then when you get to ice, it's short. Just remember that. That's very important. You wouldn't say ice, you would say ice. But then you wouldn't say wine. You would say wine. Okay? All right. So even the sounds in the dictionary can't give you the length of the pronunciation. So it's a little bit tricky. And that's why we have websites called Forvo, which tell you how to pronounce it. forvo.com. You have any word and you will have the listening bit. You'll be able to hear it as well. On many online dictionaries like Merriam-Webster, which is American, or Collins or Oxford Dictionary, you will also find pronunciation. So that's really helpful now. I think it's much better because writing it phonetically does not give you an idea of how to say it. Okay, so find, please say the d, but not very strongly, just find. Can you hear? It's almost like a t, find, but it's less air in. So find. Style. My. Apply. And then by, and by are pronounced exactly the same. Guide. Quite. Might. And height. Yeah, then we're going on to the ear sounds. Ear, so it's two sounds. Field. Wield, okay. You wield a sword. A sword is one of those long metal instruments that they used to fight with, okay? The website for pronunciation, it's forvo.com. I'll write it in a moment. But it's forvo.com, all right? forvo.com, forvo.com. Or any online dictionary very often has a pronunciation that you can click on the word for the audio. I definitely know that Merriam-Webster dictionary has it, but it's American if you want an American accent. Otherwise, just use Oxford or Collins. They are British, okay, or Cambridge. They should have dictionaries. They should have the audio as well. All right. So shield is that round thing that they used to use, or even a bit more oblong. If they were fighting with the sword, they would hold the shield to parry. These are all words you don't know. I'm sorry, because they're old-fashioned. To keep away, to parry any other cuts from any sword of the enemy. So they would fight with that hand and protect themselves with the shield with that hand. Okay. Reeled, wheel, And these words are used today, so in other senses. So that's, but I wanted to give you the historical words so that you would actually be able to relate because the origin helps you to understand the meaning today. Okay, reeled. I reeled around the room, danced in a circle. Okay, a Scottish reel or an Irish reel is dancing where the dance forms goes around in circles. Wheel, you know what that is. Deal, steal, near, and ear. Okay, so now momentarily I'm going to stop the sharing so that I can get onto writing. Let me escape that, and then I should be able to share this again, and you should be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, there we are, and I will now. Good. Okay. I am going to play a little game. Okay. Most of you know the English spelling. Okay, this is a joke about how we spell English. Okay, so this is not just from today. This is a joke. So the GHOTI, okay, that spells a word. And I'd love to ask you what you think that actually spells. Okay, what does that spell? All right, if I'm going to write it here. Okay. Oops. And then okay, so people joke that a certain word should be spelled that way if rough, if we say rough, that's how we spell rough, and women and nation. Please work out what the joke word is, okay? So take the GH and take it from rough, take the O from women, and take the TI from nation, and tell me what word that spells. Well, that doesn't spell, but we joke about our silly English. So let me just quickly make it bigger. It seems quite small. There you go. Who can guess? Who can guess? Go on. Go on. There we are. No, none of you got it. Okay. That is how fish should be spelled. Okay. That is how fish should be spelled. Let me just. If you take the GH from rough, okay, F, women, that's how you say I, and then you, nation, that's how you say TI, sh. So there you go. So that is the joke of how we should spell fish if we use those words. Okay, we are now going to do others, but I hope that gave you a bit of a laugh. All right, just let me think here. Okay, right, now I'm going to actually just unshare. Fish, yes, you were right. Christina, well done. Okay, we're going to stop now and we're going to share another one. Just a moment, it takes a little while to come through. And because we are doing a bit of a game, I'm going to not actually, yeah, I'm not going to share it fully. Okay, there we are. Now we can share the screen. And Okay, there we go. You should see it in a minute. And of course, my camera's falling off. Good. All right. So once again, we're going to practice. Yeah. Let's go to the next slide. If it allows me. Doesn't seem to allow me at the moment. It's coming through slowly for some reason. Okay, this is one we've done. So we're going back to the third one. Okay. This is a very important sound. Okay. You know that when you have a sound like this, it's a neutral sound, the sound. Most of you have this very similar thing in your language somewhere. The sound. It's a neutral sound. It's the sound of unstressed syllables and words. Okay, unstressed syllables and words. So we say was, okay, but when we put was in a sentence, we say was. He was doing that. Okay, he was doing that. Was changes to was when it's not stressed. Okay, but when you're stressing something, you do say the normal R sound. He was doing it, as in an emphasis in response to somebody else's question. But he was doing, he was at home, he was shopping, he was whatever. The sound is the unstressed sound in a word, okay? Nearly all the time, not all the time, but nearly all the time. I'm going to give you a little secret in the meantime. When you have a 2-syllable word, okay, if it's a noun, the first syllable is emphasized. If it's a verb, the second syllable is emphasized. And especially if there are words that are exactly the same as noun and verb, you then differentiate, you distinguish between the two by when you emphasize. Noun, first syllable, verb, second syllable. Doesn't work for 3 syllables or more. But with 3 syllables or more, you generally have an sound somewhere in the word that's not stressed. Okay? So let me know if you're still here. And then let me just close that. And then we can go on to the next. So the first thing is that we're going to talk about, we're going to do a little, we're going to, it's about, I'm going to just, so when we talk about something, about, you see, talk about, because is unstressed, we reduce the stress on that word. We do say it, but it's softer. About, talk about anything. Written, family. Again, with 3-syllable words, we sometimes leave it out. The sound, we sometimes leave it out. Family. See? Makes it easier. We're all for ease and comfort. Memory. Memory. Sorry. Brutal. Sorry. Season, teacher, and thorough. Sorry. Thorough. I'm going to actually add a slide. Okay. Oh, excuse me. All right. Okay. Now we're going to do a little conundrum of the words that we've done. A conundrum is a game whereby we just make up words from the letters that are given. Okay. A, E, T L L W B O U I S S. You should be able to make up most words from that. I might give you another E. All right. So now it's up to you. It's up to you to look for, to think of the words, particularly of the ones we've done. So we've done the A sound. We've done the E sound. We've done the I sound. We've done the I sound. We've done the sound. We've done the A sound. Yeah, so you should be able to do quite a few words from that. I'm just going to give you another one here. So if you make up a word, let's say T, just a moment, I'm going to make it bigger because you can't see this very easily. Okay, here you go. T, T-E-L-L. L-L. I'll keep it capitalized. It's just easier. All right. And I'm going to make it bigger so that we can make a few words. All right. Let's do the little conundrum and see if we can focus on words that we have done so far. Well, good, Carol. You're good with this. All right. Just a moment. I just need to... sorry. I forgot that it was in caps. There you go. Right, let's see. Anybody else? Belle, good. Anybody else with some words? Anybody else with some words? I'm looking for more. It's your game. Fantastic. Get, yes, absolutely. Get. Good. Is that Manuela? Yeah, Manuela. Good. Next. All right. I might do. Wet. Yes, wet. I'm going to do something else as well. We might need to add a little C. Okay. Just to get some of the other words that we did today. This is fantastic. You're doing really, really, really well. Okay. I'm going to have to... Okay. It's a little bit slow today. So I'm just waiting. There we go. C, excellent. Yeah, the EA words, the E sound. C. Also cat. Oh gosh. Just for some reason the camera is slipping, so sorry. Ice, yes, ice. That's better. Okay. Good. All right. I'm sure there's some other words. Remember, we did the A sounds, the which is either A something E or EA or EIGH. The E sounds and the L sounds. Bowl, absolutely good. Okay, bowl. That's an extra. We didn't do that yet, but it certainly is one of the things we're coming to in the moment, Daniel. Daniel, where are you from? Welcome, by the way. It's really nice having you. It's superb. Bill. I sounds, the I sounds. The I sounds, so they're very short. You should be able to find a lot of words with I, or quite a few anyway. I'll find one. Why did I do that? But we didn't do that today, but it's still there. Might need an N. Just a moment. Make it easier. N. Okay, we've added an N, everybody. So steel. Yes, absolutely. Steel. Let's do that. We can also do, just on that, wheel. I'm going to have to put it down. Sorry, we can't. We can't. I'm going to have to, because we need a few more. We need it. Okay, so now we've got a wheeled. That was a bit of cheating, sorry. You're in Bolivia, but you live in Spain. Well, welcome. Good. Any other words that you can think of? We've done the a, I, I, and I sounds. And the sounds, the sounds. Oh, we've got about. Wait, about. Okay, any other? Let's see. Yeah, Carol, you got it at the same time. Well done. Okay. Let's see if I can do that. No. 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 Okay. There are quite a few words that I can't do at the moment, but that's okay. Any more? Let's see. I'll stop if there's no more. Okay. So I'm just waiting a couple of seconds. Okay. Now we'll go on to the next slide. All right. So we'll go here. Okay. All right. Here we do the sound. So Daniel, you just repeat after me, just to practice and practice and practice. Pot. Tall. Well done. Okay. That's fantastic. We haven't done the all sounds, but that's no problem. You can carry on creating words. Now, we're going to the sounds. Pot. Just repeat after me and try and pronounce it how I pronounce it. Keep your lips very soft for the p sounds, okay? Pot. Wine. Brilliant, Carol. Thank you. I will not write it now. It's a little too difficult. Okay. Hot. Rock. I'm going to go back to the italki site. I just want to look for it to see if we have people there. Okay. I'm going to have to wait. Pot. Rock. Rock. Bottle. Bottle. Can you hear the tl sound? Tl. Sometimes we'll say bottle, but we often say tl. We just leave everything out. Tl. All right. Hi, Grazia. Hi, Marina. I don't know why this comes so late, but it does. So it comes very late. So sorry that I have not seen it before, but it didn't come up till now. All right. So, okay. I can't see further than that, unfortunately, but that's fine. Okay. So just copy after me then. Long, long. What? Want? Model. Can you hear the sound? Model. 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 And the emphasis is on mod, so the l is less stressed. And then we go to O sounds. Now I'm going to exaggerate this, okay? When we say O, it's like we're going to say what, it's like a fish. What, okay? So we make our mouths into a fish shape. O. So it's not just one sound, it's two. O, 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 O. Okay? Practice it with me. O. Good. Go. Woke. I woke up. Tote. Open. Though. Wrote. And most. Okay. Anna, hi. Finally, I get to see you. The messages. It doesn't always come up. So sorry I didn't see that you were with us. It's so nice that you can join us. Okay. All right. Now we will go on to the next slide. And we will go on to the oo sounds, okay? Oo. So not oo, but oo. Some people say it's a bit like the German with a U with an umlaut on top. Ooh. But I don't know. So don't follow that for me. Okay. If you know German. Book is short. Oh, can you see that the box on the left has double O sounds, but the box on the right, the sounds are different. They're oo sounds. Okay, oo sounds. Book, look, but then on the right-hand side, food. Okay, I'm exaggerating to show you the difference. Do remember anything okay is oo. All right, book, cook, look. Now repeat after me. Foot and sugar. Sugar. Good. Repeat. Put. Would. Should. Excellent. Good. Lovely. Food. Blue. True. Blue. Yep, exactly the same. Often when words have different spellings, but yeah, they can have very similar sounds. Okay, so very often the context, if it's auditory, the context will give you the meaning. Otherwise, you don't know. All right, so the wind blew the blue wall. Okay. Fruit, just repeat after me. Fruit. And t is very light, has got air in it. Just so that before we go there, t has got air in it. Remember? Group. Through. Root. And move. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Ish. There, the ah sounds. Okay. Sorry, it's supposed to be without the dots. All right. Just the ah without the U, without the dots. That's the ah sound. I don't know. I can't get it off. I don't know how to do it. So it's a bit difficult. Ah sounds. Mud. Sucker. You know, the lollipop sucker. Or an octopus. An octopus's tentacles have got suckers on. track and pluck. Tough, enough, and rough. Your ah sound is an open mouth sound. So don't go ah. No, we don't want to see your tonsils. We just want to know that you're pronouncing it right. Ah, ah is open mouth, okay? Ah. And also, if you open your mouth too much, it takes time to come back to the next letter. Or so we actually, English, we want to speak, is spoken quite slowly very often, except maybe in America. English is spoken quite slowly, and we enjoy people who speak slowly. Actually, we really respect them. So don't worry about speeding up. Speed is not a problem in English. If you speak slowly, people think, oh, I must respect this person. So do speak slowly. Don't worry about speaking fast. All right, so then, of course, if you're excited and you want to show your excitement, then speak faster by all means. But in English, it is better to slow down so that you get your pronunciation right than to speak fast. Okay, so do slow down and just enjoy the sounds of the language. Okay. Right, so I'm going to do a couple of sentences now, just auditorily, so not on the slides, okay? Just auditorily. So I'm going to use these words now in sentences, and you copy me. All right, tall, tall. That girl is rather tall for her age. For her age. That girl is rather tall for her age. For her. We often say for her, okay? For her. Or for is. We don't say the H. Sorry. When we're speaking faster, not very fast, we don't say the H. The girl is rather tall for her age. For her age. Always. I'm always dropping my keys. I'm always losing my keys. And I have this major search because I don't have anything that can help me to find it. Like with your mobile phone, you can get somebody in the house to call your mobile phone, but you can't call your keys. Okay, walk. The toddler is starting to walk. The baby is starting to walk. The toddler is starting to walk. Port. All the ports are closed at the moment because of the lockdown. Cord. Let me think. The cord to the lamp is frayed, so the lamp doesn't work. Frayed is just like when it's got the material is coming loose and there's something that's broken it or eaten into it, so it's coming loose into little bits. And the cord, just let me do this quickly, is this. Okay, that's what a cord is. All right, or a cord, any kind of cord that can be material as well. Okay, order. Repeat after me. Letters of the word are written in order. Letters of a word are written in order. Right, water. I love water. I love hot water, actually. It's one of the best drinks. So I love hot water. Just repeat after me. I love hot water. I don't feel very warm at the moment. Repeat. I don't feel very warm at the moment. Remember the O sound. Don't feel very warm at the moment. Law. The idiom is he's a law to himself. In other words, he makes up his own laws. He's a law to himself. Pause. Tell me when to pause so that I can explain something. Tell me when to pause. Tell me when to pause. Just repeat the phrase. Caught. He caught a mighty big bream. Remember, bream is a type of fish. He caught a mighty big bream. Bought. In the old days, we bought our fish straight from the fishermen in the harbor. So we bought our fish from the fishermen. Good. I hope that that's good. I'm going to just go through these words again, these very difficult words. We've focused on many of them, but you can see they've all got O-U-G-H. Okay. So let's do the one that's basic. Let's go to the right-hand side. Tough. Okay, that's an A sound. And if you remember, tough as a cuff. The cuff is the extra thickness of the edge of the sleeve. Tough as a cuff. All right, tough as a cuff. All right, just to help you remember. Then let's go add a letter, and we go left. Though. Though is toe. Now, many of you don't know what a toe is. A toe is the little finger on the end of your foot, any of the fingers on the end of your foot. Okay, that's what a toe is, T-O-E. Though my toe hurts, just write that down as a sentence to help you remember how to pronounce it. Though my toe hurts. Then we add another letter and we have thought. Okay, thought. The thoughts are in my head, the or sound. I thought the cord was frayed. Okay, I thought the cord was frayed. I'm just giving you the or sound. Thought the cord was frayed. Or if you don't know, I thought the ports were open. Okay, so if you want to write that, you can do that. Thorough, okay. Thorough. Thorough. Thorough, the only word that rhymes with that is borough. So I don't know how to actually give you a word that helps you to know which one to do it. You're just going to have to write it phonetically. Thorough, okay? Good, and then cough. Oh, oh, oh. It's the pot. When the pot boils, I cough. When the pot boils, I cough. Or when it's hot, I cough. Just remember, so I'm trying to give you the middle sounds, okay? Oh, I didn't see through. Ooh, through. He has to jump through 2 hoops. Through 2 hoops. He has to jump through 2 hoops. And that is that. I hope that helps. Let me know if it helps to get those words. All right. And then we're doing the sounds. Turn. Burn. Just repeat. Learn. Work. World. Purred. Heard and heard. Exactly the same. A herd of cattle and I heard you speaking. All right, now I'm going to stop there for a moment. I am going to ask you, what are the words you find particularly difficult to pronounce? Okay, what are the words or the sounds you find particularly difficult to pronounce? I'm just looking at the italki platform here, just to see. What are the words you find particularly difficult to pronounce? Let me know in the comments, please. Or what are the sounds you find difficult? The t sound, the n sound, the ng sound. Let me know in the comments because that's really helpful for me. Okay, so let me know. Just write down the words. It'll be really nice to talk to you. I like two-way conversation. It's not so easy doing a one-way conversation. Okay. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do while I'm waiting for your reply is I'm going to do the ow sounds. Again, the fish face. Ow, ow, ow. Not O. O is a longer sound. Ow, ow, ow. Okay? Ow. Not O, O, but ow, ow. Okay? So O is slightly more closed mouth. Ow is more open. How. House. About. Tout. Town. Now. All right. And okay, the t and the d sounds. Okay. All right. Let's focus on them now while we're doing the r sounds. Okay. So the t sound. Most of you stop the air from coming out in your t sounds. Okay. So with us, we actually say, bring a lot of air. We push air between our palate, which is between our nose and our mouth, the bone there. We push air between the palate and our tongue. So the you're touching the top of your palate. Let's see if it's better that way. I think that way. Okay, but you're pushing air like shh. Okay. And it's a softer sound. The d sound is also, you don't say the d. So you say d, you don't put air in. So t, d, t, d is vocalized. T is sometimes not that vocalized because you don't realize that you're not vocalizing it. But d is definitely vocalized, no air. Our d is closer to your t. Okay, to most of you. Our d, our d is closer to your t. Because we don't put any air in there. We just cut out the air like you do for t. So let's do, I'm trying to particularly think of words with a d at the end, okay? I'm trying DED, because danced is not going to work. Think of a word with DED at the end. I can't. My brain has gone to sleep. Wielded. Okay. Wielded. Can you hear wielded? Find. Yes, there you go. Find. Find. Can you hear? It's a soft sound, but it's still there. Find. Find. But wielded. Can you hear did? Okay. Wielded. Okay, the d at the very end of the word is a little bit more like a t. It's softer. But the d before DED, wielded, is a word that you actually do say, wielded. If we say danced, it's a t sound. The D at the end of the word is mostly a t sound unless a DED or TED. Weighted, d. Okay, but it's soft at the end of the word if it's not a construction with TED or DED. So art, Can you hear the t, 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 t? I hope you can. Tart. Market. I'm exaggerating slightly so that you can hear me the other side. Heart. And then castle, we actually don't say that T, that's a silent letter. Dance, danced. All right, so those are the letters. I'm going to have to go now. It's my time up, but it's been lovely joining with you. I really, really love it when you chat back. If you want to book a class, do just go to my number 5666908 on italki and chat to me. I love talking to people, making friends with my students, and it's just lovely to meet people from all over the world. So I'll see you tomorrow when we talk about stress management, and we'll talk about stress idioms. We'll talk about how to resolve stress and give you all the vocabulary that you need for that. Okay, all right, take care then. Bye-bye.
En todo el mundo. Con Lingvi encontrarás personas nativas dispuestas a ayudarte a practicar el idioma que desees aprender. Los usuarios con tiempo libre se mostrarán disponibles para recibir llamadas y de esta forma ganarán recompensas ayudando a otros usuarios. Así es como conectamos personas de forma colaborativa y gratuita en nuestra aplicación. Únete a nuestra comunidad, haz nuevos amigos y mejora en todos los idiomas que quieras. Descarga Lingvi y practiquemos juntos.
Este es Peter. Está aprendiendo chino. Ha intentado estudiar por su cuenta con libros, tarjetas de vocabulario y aplicaciones móviles, pero sigue teniendo problemas para hablar. Esta es María. Le encanta aprender inglés, pero no tiene oportunidades para ponerlo en práctica. Con italki, Peter y María pueden recibir clases personales online para hablar con fluidez en otro idioma. Tú también puedes aprender un idioma en italki. Empieza hoy en 3 simples pasos. Primero, elige un idioma: inglés, alemán, chino, francés, japonés. Italki tiene profesores para cualquier idioma. Segundo, escoge un profesor. Con Italki puedes escoger entre miles de profesores con experiencia de todo el mundo. Tercero, elige el horario de tu lección. Las clases de idiomas online son el mejor método para aprender con profesores nativos. Con Italki tendrás un profesor de idiomas personal y conversaciones reales con hablantes nativos. Cada día miles de personas aprenden con profesores internacionales a través de italki. Encuentra un profesor hoy y domina el idioma de tu lección.
Hi everyone, it's Vicente and I teach Spanish on italki.com. And today we will be talking about 3 grammar rules to follow when you start learning Spanish. The first one is that, as you have already heard, Spanish verbs are always conjugated. That means that they have to match with the subject of the sentence. For example, there are different pronouns in Spanish. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, and ellos, ellas, y ustedes. All these pronouns have their own conjugations, and it's very common for beginners to mix them up. So remember this. When you start to conjugate the verbs, they have to match. The second rule is very important as well. The Spanish nouns and adjectives has to be in the same level. Let me explain you this. If you have a noun that is feminine and plural, for example, las mujeres, the adjective that you have to use right after the noun has to be feminine.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to italki Live. I am Teacher D. I'm from the United States of America, and I told you the other day that I am from Massachusetts. Let me show you. I am from Massachusetts. Oh, let me switch that. That's not the right one. Here we go. Okay, so I'm from Massachusetts, and that is a state in the northeast. Trying to get my screen fixed here for you. There we are. And it's very cold in Massachusetts in the winters, so I don't really like the snow anymore because I lived for over 7 years in Ecuador, which is South America. No, I've messed up. Sorry. Off to a very good start today. There we go. I lived in South America, which is in Ecuador, which is in South America, and so I became fluent in Spanish, which really helped me understand the process of learning another language. And so I'm here today, living in Tennessee. I told you the other day that Tennessee is the country music capital of the world. So that's where all the twanging music comes from, with the guitars and the big hats and the big cowboy boots. So if you don't know country music, you could look it up and learn about country music. But Nashville is also the home to the only replica of the Greek Parthenon in a place called Centennial Park. There is a life-size replica of the Greek Parthenon with the golden statue of Athena. So that's a very big tourist attraction spot. Many people come there, and you can go inside this. It's a museum. You can go inside and learn all about Nashville's history and view the huge replica of the golden statue of Athena. So that's another interesting topic for us. And so if you are here, if you are listening to our live broadcast today, where are you from? And what's interesting about where you live? What's interesting about where you live, and where are you from? What's your name? Please share with us. Say hello. Am I talking to myself, or do I have some friends out there? And if you say hello, I'll make sure to say hello back and let everyone know where you are from. So today we are going to finish that lesson that we started on Monday, because unfortunately, I didn't realize that I still had 15 minutes left for our sentence structure lesson, and I made the mistake of leaving the class early. So I'm excited that you get to have a little bit of extra time with me today while I finish up that lesson and move into another lesson, which talks about English is tricky. Why? Why is it so tricky? Hello, Carol. It's good to see you again. I believe you were here the other day. And Carol is from Venice, Italy. So welcome, Carol. Thank you for coming and seeing us today. Okay, so let's do our warm-up right now. We'll do a warm-up for the next lesson, a real actual warm-up. And this warm-up is going to be a quick review of the lesson that we began and we are going to finish. So we talked about sentence structure being very important to the English language. And if you master sentence structure, that's going to help you in your writing, but it's also going to help you in your English because we really talk the same way as we write. Writing can be a little bit more formal, especially if you're doing academic writing, but we should always use the active voice. We always structure our sentences the same way, and that begins with the simple present tense. Simple present tense uses 3 parts: your pronoun, your verb, and your complement. And remember, a complement here is a phrase of words, usually a phrase of words. So our examples were, I eat cheese, and she works at the store. We run very fast. We added some, this here, very, that is an adverb. It tells us how something was done. Okay, and we'll talk about that just a minute. We have a dog. So this is a complement. This is a phrase of words at the end of the sentence. Our sentences always start with either an adverb or a pronoun, and then we need a verb, and then we have the complement, the complemental phrase. So once you learn to master that the subject, object, subject, verb, object, subject, verb, object, SVO. I'm sure you've seen that in your grammar studies. The SVO. Once you master the simplest form of that, which is present simple, then we move on to continuous, present continuous. That is adding the verb to be every time that you see a continuous tense, whether it's present, past, future. We're going to add ing to the verb, and we're going to have the verb to be before it. So then we have 4 things in our sentence. We need to have the pronoun, we need to have the verb to be, and we need to have the ing verb with the ending, the complement. So here's our examples. I am eating smelly cheese, and smelly is an adverb. She is always working at the dirty store. So we did talk about making our sentences longer by adding adverbs and adjectives. Adjectives modify nouns. Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, other adverbs, and whole sentences. And when we learn to put those in place, then we can structure our sentences better. We can make them longer. Then we talked about the perfect tense. Perfect is have and has. We are just adding have and has into our sentence, and we're changing our verb to the third verb. Go, went, gone. We're going to use that third verb. And so we pretty much stop there. We can talk now about the present perfect continuous. Here we are going to continue with our verb of have and had because it's present. It's present. Have and has. So this was not correct, sorry. Now we are going to add that continuous verb to be, which is been, and we're putting ing on there as well. So we also looked at that. I have been living there for 3 years. I have been searching for hours for my keys. So then it was time, when I cut us off early, to time travel. And we were going to go to the past. Now to go to the past, we are going to take our verb And what did we use? Let's get a sentence that we used. Let's go back up here and get a sentence. Oh, let's use she works at the store. We will keep using that sentence. We're going to change that to past. Simply, in a simple present tense, she works at the store. We're going to change that verb into past, the past. She worked at the store. So easy. And then we're going to make sure that we don't have a time expression here, like yesterday or last week. We want to make sure when our sentence comes in as she works at the store in the morning, we want to make sure that time sentence will go with the past, right? So we're not going to want to say she worked at the store tomorrow, okay? She worked at the store in a few hours, because that's not a time expression for the past. So we have to make sure our time expression stays with our time. And Carol says, I ate cheese yesterday at the restaurant. That's perfect. I eat cheese. We change that to the past. I ate cheese. Now, when we do that for our present continuous, to our past continuous, that would be she is, right? She is working at the store. She is working at the store. This is present continuous. We're just simply going to change this verb to be. She was. We're going to put that in past. That's the only thing we have to change. She was working at the store. And then when we do that, check our time expression, and it's complete. So Carol, what would your sentence, I eat cheese at the restaurant, what would that be, Carol? And present perfect, changing that to past perfect. She, and we want the past form of our verb here, and we're going to simply add the have has, right? So she has worked at the store would be present perfect. To change that to past, we need to have had. She had worked at the store. Yes, Carol, that's right. I was eating. Hello, Camila. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Where are you from, Camila? Yes, Carol, that is your past continuous sentence. I was eating cheese yesterday at the store. Now let's change that to present perfect while I continue with the present perfect continuous. So we have present perfect continuous. We are going to put our original sentence here. We keep this verb in past. We add that we have has, it makes it present perfect. To make it continuous, we're going to change this, working, she has, and we need to add that to be verb. She has been working. And now to change it from present perfect continuous to past perfect continuous, we're going to add the D instead to make it had. She had been working at the store. Hello, Camila from Colombia, but currently living in Croatia. Okay, very good. And Carol's past perfect sentence is I had eaten cheese at the store, taking the third form of the verb. Very good. Had eaten, eat, ate, eaten. Great job. Now change it, Carol. Change it to present perfect continuous. She had been working at the store. Okay, and now let's talk about the future, So time traveling can be very quick and easy if you know how to change those verbs. All you have to do is change your verbs. No other part of the sentence, no other word in the sentence will change. Your time expression may change depending on your original time expression, but your actual verbs are what indicate what time things are done. Okay, in Camila's past perfect sentence, past perfect continuous, I had been eating cheese at the store. Perfect, that's right. I had been eating cheese at the store. Okay, so let's talk about the future. The future is adding will, or in all of them, we're going to add will, and there's one exception to it. So let's put our sentence here. Let's put our sentence here. She, and we're going to put this in the present. She works. Remember, if we're going to write a present simple sentence and we're using he, she, it, we need the S on the verb. She works at the store. Now we're going to change it to future. Remove the S and add will. She will work at the store. It's that simple to talk about the present and the future and the past. Here's the future. She will work at the store. Okay? And now we're going to change that into a present continuous to future. And here is our exception. We have to add be, and we need to change that verb to she will be working at the store. She will be working at the store. It's that simple. Now we're going back to only adding will to the sentence. Adding will to the sentence and changing those verbs. She will, let's see, we are in present perfect future to future, present perfect. She has or have, she will have, and we need this verb in that third form because that's the perfect rule, third form of the verb. She will have worked at the store. She will have worked at the store. And now we're going to change it from the future perfect to the future perfect continuous. Future perfect continuous. Once again, adding will, only by adding will. She will have been working. She will have been working at the store. And it's that simple to time travel, changing the verb, adding will, and you will be able to see the past, the present, and the future all at once. All right, so that was the end of the lesson. And now we are going to go ahead. We are going to go back to our topic for today is English is tricky. And we're going to talk about why. Why is English tricky? So hopefully tomorrow, hopefully this will help you a little bit with some struggles that maybe you're having in English. I'm sorry I stopped reading the chat bar there so that I could continue with this lesson. And I see that Camila, the difference between will or going to, they are both future, and you can use both of them, but unfortunately I can't cover that and do this lesson, so I'm sorry that I missed that. Yes, why is English tricky? That's what we're going to cover now. The difference between will or going to. I will go ahead and I hate leaving questions unanswered. So let's take our future simple. That's what that is, future simple. And all we're going to do, instead of using, where is it? I'm sorry. There we go. She will work at the store. We're just going to replace it. It's really the same thing. It's really the same thing as adding will. It means exactly the same. It's just a different way of saying it in the future. We need is. She is going to. She is going to work at the store. That is a form of the present, actually the present continuous. It's not a form of any other. It's only the present continuous. So if we copy that, we can paste it in here for will be. Instead of saying will be, we can put here, she is going to. She is going to be working at the store. And so those are the differences. There's not a big difference. It's just that it makes a little bit more of a complex sentence. You can choose to use either of them and you will say the same thing. Okay, good. All right. So hello, Shunho. I see you have joined us. Thank you. So we see Camila and Shunho and Carol and Robert, you've popped in. Very good. All right. So now all of my friends in the chat, please can you give me a list of verbs? We need some verbs. Come on, come on. And Carol says English is tricky because it is difficult to use the tenses. When we use future is it's from other languages, different from Italian. And the pronunciation of the words is difficult. Yes, and there's a whole bunch more reasons. We're going to talk about that today. So let's make a quick list of verbs. Run, we have run from Shunho. Okay, give me some more. Give me some more. And we have to be quick. We can't spend a lot of time on our warm-up today. Run. Okay. Believe. Create. Sing. All right. We'll give you some more. Very good. Laugh. What else? What else? Get. Good. Let's do 5 more. Give me 5 more. Smile. Very nice. 5 more. Smile. That's 1. 4 more. Come on, come on. Let me see live comments. I will read your comment in just a moment, Robert. Okay, and we've got 4 more. We've got fly, 3 more. Sit, 2 more. I would like to use the word put. And come. Perfect. Okay. So now let's see who can give me all 3 past tenses of the verb run. Go, go, go. Run, run. All 3 tenses of the word run. And let's see if you get them correct. Run. So what are the 3 forms of run? I don't think we're going to be able to do all of these, but you could practice them on your own. We're going to do 3. Let's start with run. Run. All 3 of run. Who can do it first? Who can do it first? Let's see. Shunho got it. Run, ran, ran. Congratulations, Shunho. Congratulations. All right, so Shunho is in the lead. The next one we're going to do is get. Who can give me all 3 of the forms of get? All 3 forms of get. Get, got, got. Yes, Carol, that's right. You got it because Shunho was celebrating. So Carol got that one. Great sentence, Camila. I ran the last weekend to avoid the line in the store. Okay, Carol, let's not use the with last weekend. We don't need it for there. I ran last weekend. No the. Okay, great. All right, next one. Let's see who can get the last. Let's do put. Go, go, go. Put. All 3 forms of put. Go, 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 go. All 3 forms of put. Oops, come on. Who's going to do it? Put. All 3 forms of put. It's a tricky one. And this is one of the reasons. Yes, Robert, you got it. You got it, Robert. Put, put, put. That's right. It doesn't change. It doesn't have another form. That is its form. It stays the same all the time. So right there, go, got, gotten. Carol, wow, you are on it. You got it before I did. Very good. It actually is, Shinho, it actually is gotten. Yes, got, gotten is actually the third form of that verb. And you have to forgive me. It is 4:44 a.m. for me here. Does that mean I get a break for making a mistake? Okay, so let's go back to our lesson now that we've had that little break and a little bit warm up. And there's two exactly perfect examples to talk about. And the winner is all of you. But those are two really good examples to talk about why English is tricky. Because right there you can see that get, got, and gotten, those are three forms of the verbs, and you have to learn all three forms and when to use the forms. And then some of them are tricky because we have regular verbs and we have irregular verbs. Okay? And some of them don't change at all, like put and the put and cut, they don't change. They are the same in all of those verb tenses. So here's another example of why English is tricky. Here we have this word, this phrase, Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean. Now you see that there are three C's in that. There are three C's in that, and all three C's make a different sound. So not only do we need to learn verbs, but we need to learn all the sounds of the English letters. And every English letter, every English vowel, A, E, I, O, U, has a different sound. And it has two different sounds. We have A, E, I, O, U. That's the long form. We have the short form, A, E, I, Okay, so those all have two, and A has even more than two. It has three, and I think sometimes four different sounds that it can make. And here we can see that C has three different sounds. Pa, si, si. If it's before the I, it has a soft C. S. If it's after the I, it has a hard C. K, k. Pacific. Ocean. Here it has the sh sound, which is what we call SH. Okay, so there is a reason why there's so many silent letters in the English language that are put into words. And so sometimes when we learn phonetics, we learn English phonetics, we try to pronounce the word that we've never seen before by phonetically sounding it out according to the rules of English, and we get it wrong because we're trying to pronounce a silent letter. And we'll talk about all of these in detail. Pronunciation. There are so many different pronunciation tips and tricks, and we're going to talk about some of those. Little words in English. There are these 2-letter words and 3-letter words, and they're so important. Reductions and idioms. Now, I know most of you, you seem to be pretty good. You've got some fluency in English, and reductions and idioms. You've heard of idioms. I know you've heard of idioms, but how many of you have heard of reductions and have studied reductions? We're going to talk about those. We're probably going to spend as much time as possible on those. And then I'm going to give you some of my advice as an educator. I've worked teaching English for over 7 years. I've been an educator for over 20 years. I've taught little children to read in English, and that was very useful in teaching English as a language. So I'm going to give you some of my, we could say expert advice. I don't know if I'm an expert, but I've got some experience to share with you. So let's talk about silent letters. Now, Teacher Karen just finished the lesson before me. So if you were here for that, you know Teacher Karen. She did a live on April 24th about silent letters. So some of you may have seen that. And if you haven't seen that, I encourage you to go back and learn that, because almost every letter appears in some point in the English language. It'll appear in a word, but it will be silent. So let's talk about that silent B first. I'm going to show you the silent B. Okay, and here we go. Let's pronounce these words. And remember, so now this is silent. So you have a head up. Usually I just ask students to pronounce these, and they might say them wrong because they don't know that I'm tricking them. I'm doing an English trick on them, right? So we don't pronounce that B. We just learn that this B is silent. And so that's going to help us pronounce these words. Bomb, bomb, thumb, thumb, and dumb. Silent B. Let's talk about another. So that silent B comes at the end of the word. The end of the word. Okay, now we're going to talk about the silent K. The silent K. Let's look at some of those words. I'm going to write them down here for you. I can't trick you because now you know what our silent letter is. Here we go. Look. We have K-N-O-W, K-N-E-E-L, K-N-I-N-G. And so we want to say canoe, canoe, or canal even, because we see this word now inside there. But this K, it's silent. And so is the W for that matter. And this one and this one. So it's no, no, kneel, kneel. And we only say one of the E's here, right? And night, night. So we have some more silent letters in all of these words other than just the K. Huh. Am I blowing your mind? Okay, good. Great. And we also have a silent T, some examples of the silent T. All right. I'm going to give you some examples of the silent T. I think I saw this one on Miss Karen's live. I'm just going to give you these two. Now we have the silent T in here. Castle, castle. Because if we try to say castle, castle, it's not the correct pronunciation of the word. It's not correct. So we have to silent T, castle, castle. Yeah. Good. And then we have kitten, kitten. Now you can pronounce this, and we're going to talk about this pronunciation in a moment, as kitten, kitten, kitten. Okay. Yes, Carol, that's right. Listen, listen, listen. No T sound in listen. Listen. Silent, silent, kitten. Okay. So you have to know all of those silent words and recognize them when you see them in a word that you've never seen before. Okay? Because if you don't, you'll say the word wrong. You'll try to phonetically pronounce castle, and it will be incorrect. Okay, so let's talk about, oh, my little smiley face got moved down. Let's move him back up for you. These are the silent letters. Okay, so let's talk about some pronunciation here. I'm sorry, it's gotten a little bit messed up here. Pronunciation. We're going to talk about some pronunciation. Let's talk about numbers. So here's a little activity. We're going to read these numbers, okay? And now I usually do this in my classes with my newer students, and I can hear them. so I can hear their pronunciation. But I would like to hear you, and I can't because we are doing a one-way live here. I can see you, but let's go ahead and pronounce these. What number is this? Okay, and now I'm going to sort of pronounce them with you. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, got that? Yeah, this is easy. You're like, Teacher D, this is too easy. Okay, good. Let's read some more numbers. Let's read some more numbers. Okay, here's some more numbers for you. Let's read these. 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. I'm sure you can say these numbers. I'm sure you can. So you're saying, Teacher, this is kind of crazy. What's going on here? Okay, let's do this. Let's pronounce this one. Go ahead and pronounce that one. Good. And now let's go ahead and pronounce this one. Good. Do they sound the same? Do they sound the same when you pronounce them? 50, 50. Do they sound very similar? Let's clear that up. Pronounce them again. Listen to them again. 15, 50. Do they sound the same? Do they sound the same for you in your ear? All right. Well, I'm going to show you how to make them sound very different and how we, as English native speakers, will pronounce them. I'm going to give you the inside English speaker tip. What's my name? Teacher D, D, D. So instead of saying that T sound here, we're going to change that to a D sound, okay? We're going to change it to a D sound. So we're still going to say 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, but now we're going to change this to the D sound. 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D. Oh, we don't change the spelling. We can't mess with that, but we can change the sound. So here we're going to say 15, 15, and it doesn't matter if you make it long or short anymore. I've heard some students tell me, teachers have said, make your 15 long and your 50 short. That's not really the trick. The trick is 15, 50, 50. Now pronounce them. You do it. Do you hear a big difference? Do you hear a big difference between how you pronounce 15 and 50? Okay, so there's a pronunciation trick for you. Let's talk about another one. And some of you may already know these. Some of you may not. So if you didn't know that one, I hope it helped you. Give me a yes if it helped you. Give me a yes if you can hear a difference now. Let's talk about this letter T in the middle of the word and also sort of at the end. I'm going to give you a bonus word here. Okay, and this one. All right, so keeping in mind, good, Sean, I'm so glad it helped you. Great. Sean says yes, 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 yes. That's really good. Okay, so keeping in mind that what we just learned about that letter T in pronouncing our numbers, let's read these words. Oops, sorry. I'm thinking of kitten, and we didn't want kitten. We wanted little, pretty, and activity. Is this how you pronounce them? Okay. All right, so let's pronounce them. We're going to keep in mind from our last one, we use that sound D instead of T. We're going to do the same thing here. We don't change the spelling, we change the sound. So to sound more natural saying this, we're not going to say water, we're going to say water, water, water. May I have some water? Okay, and then we're going to change little to little, little, not little, not little, little, little. Same thing for pretty, pretty. You hear that? Pretty, pretty. Oh, she's so pretty. Look at her, she's so pretty. It's not that harsh T sound, but a softer D. If you listen to a native English speaker, they're not going to say, oh, it's such a pretty day, right? No, we're going to say, it's such a pretty day. Okay, and then here, this is not the one in the middle. We will pronounce that as the T, activity, activity, D, just like the numbers. Just like the numbers, we're going to say D instead of T, okay? Does this help you? Okay, Rober says, in which syllable do have the accent 15 and 50? 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15, 15. She's 15 years old. She's 15 years old. So the first syllable, that would be the first syllable, would have the accent, Robert, and 50, 50, 50 would have the end syllable, D, 50, 50. I'm not very good at the syllables. I've never actually studied those a lot. I should. It's like my last thing I need to study, I think. Because the accent is very different. Now, I speak Spanish, Robert, and so when we talk about the accent, what you mean is where the word is stressed. And I know that in Spanish, it's usually the second to last syllable of the word. Okay, so we say that with a little bit more force than the rest of it. And English is a little tricky because honestly, they change all the time. I don't think there is an actual rule like in Spanish where the second to last syllable of the word is almost always accented unless you see that tilde, then you accent the word there. So that's another, there's another reason. We actually have a dictionary, and I've used this in the past when I've had to, the iambic pentameter. The iambic pentameter. If you are a very advanced English learner, you can learn how to write an iambic pentameter, and that will tell you that the syllables in English are different and they fall in different places in the words, the accents. So when I was studying out the iambic pentameter, I learned that the syllables appear in many different places in the English words. So I hope that answered your question. I can't answer it very well because there's no set rule like there is in Spanish. All right, so let's talk about some pronunciation tips, and I'm going to get really close to show you this. And let me just double check that you're not sending me any chats over here I haven't seen. Okay. All right, so the first one we want to talk about is TH. Now, TH has two sounds. One of them is a breathy, airy sound, and the other one is but with both of them, English does something that other languages do not, and that is to put the tongue outside of the mouth. We're very rude in English, I think, I'm afraid, because we stick out our tongue for this sound. And to see if you're making the sound correctly, both of the voiced and unvoiced TH words, if you put your finger, and I know coronavirus and everything, so you'll want to be careful doing this right now. Make sure that your hands are clean and you're not going to get yourself sick. But if you take your finger and you put it, let me shut off my screen sharing so that you can get a better view. Okay, if you take your finger and you put it in front of your mouth like this, and you say the TH words, your tongue needs to come out of your mouth and it needs to touch your finger. Okay, so it would look like this. Let me go this way so that my microphone is not in the way. Okay, we're going to go like this, and we're going to go the, there, those, them. And every time I say that TH sound, my tongue is touching my finger. And that helps me say the sound correctly. Those are voiced ones. I'm going to do some unvoiced ones so that you can see it's the same for both of them. And it has to do with how you use your vocal cords and air to change the TH. So here is how we're going to do the unvoiced sounds. Thursday, thick, thin, thumb. Okay? So did you see that? Did you see the tongue? I know I'm exaggerating it a little bit, and I actually suggest that you do exaggerate them until you learn them really well, and it becomes very easy for you to do that. And one way that I noticed when I'm writing on my whiteboard and I'm giving you examples, I will put my tongue out for the TH words when I'm writing them. I will sit here and I will say them, those. So I even exaggerate it as a native English speaker. A way that you can practice this is take a text, any text that you have. So I don't have a page with a lot of text, but you can make a copy. Let's say make a copy of a book, make a copy of a page of text, okay? And go through it and highlight all of the TH sounds. Highlight all of the TH words that you find. And then sit back and read it. But that highlight is going to make you say, oh yes, I have to pronounce that, and practice the pronunciation. Every time you come across the highlighted TH word, practice your pronunciation until you get it really well. So that's a good activity for practicing. All right, so now let's go back to sharing my screen here. Oops, sorry, I'm not very good at this. Okay, W's. W's. My goal in my classes is to have my students speak more than I do to save my voice a little bit. W's. Here's another trick to say W's properly. I noticed that sometimes, good Camila, I'm glad that TH trick helped you. I noticed that sometimes W's are difficult for students, and I believe especially for Asian students. So if you're an Asian student, this is geared directly towards you, Asian and Ukrainian students. I'm not picking on anybody, I'm trying to help you. So to do W's, let's take your hand and put it right in front of your face like this. This time you don't have to touch it. But every time you say the W sound, it should get a little puff of air hitting your hand right here. So we're going to say would, where, water, okay? And you should feel a breath of air here if you're saying the sound correctly. Who, what, where, when, why. Okay, so if you say the W word correctly, that puff of air will sometime, every time will hit your hand right here. And if you're not getting that breath of air hitting you, then you've got to practice the W sounds. And you do that by making your lips like this, like you're going to kiss somebody. Hoo, 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 hoo. It always has to be round like that to make those W sounds. Water, where, okay? So round. Let's see, W's and V's and F's. Let me turn this off again. I want you to be able to see me well. So W's, what are you doing? Where are you going? Every time you're going to feel that puff, puff, puff. Okay. Now let's talk about V's. Who was maybe a little boy? Who was ever a little boy? Okay. Little boys. And some little girls, what do they like to play with? They like to play with cars. Let me get my car here. All right, here's our car. Do-do-do-do-do. All right, what sound do we make when we are playing with a car? vroom, 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 vroom. Yeah? Does that sound or something like that? Okay, so that's going to help you pronounce your V's. Your V's. V, V, vase, vest, very. Put the teeth on your lip. V, 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 v. Okay, and you should, and it's actually the phonetic sound of V is only V, V. No vowel sound with that. So I just said v, v, v because that gives me that v popping sound I want it to show you. But the phonetic sound of V is v, and then we add it to the word. So practice that. It should tickle you right here. If you're doing it correctly, it should tickle you. Very, vase, vest. Okay? So that's V. And let's also talk about F. F is the same thing. We're going to put our teeth on our lip, but we're going to do it in a airier way. We're not going to make that vibration down here. We're going to go fish, fish. So we're blowing out much more air and using no voice. Now here you'll feel V. You'll feel stuff happening here for V. But for fish, you will not. Fish, fine, feather. Okay? So those you can practice those if you have difficulty with those letters. Okay? And the pronunciation for those letters. And side note, PH in English always says physician. Physician is spelled with a PH. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. I can just teach it to you. Okay, let's go back to the screen. I'm trying to go back to the screen. I don't know why it's not popping up. Okay, so let's talk about the little words. The little words. Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm pretty sure you had something to do with that. The little words matter a lot. So they're very small, but they matter a lot. If we don't master using those little words, then we don't master the English language. I'm sorry, but if you do not use your articles, you've not mastered the English language, and you really need to study that more. And unfortunately, I have many students that come to me and they can speak really well. They even have great pronunciation, but they leave off their articles because other languages do not use articles the way that we do. There's actually very few languages that use articles. I know that Greek uses articles, but I do not know of other languages that use them as much as we do. I know Spanish has el and la, and los and los, and those are really all the articles they have. I think there's a couple of others, but it's not the same as English. So those articles are so important. And we talked about them in our last class, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on them because my big subject is reduction and I want to get to that. So you have your three articles. They're general, they're specific. They are used for countable nouns. They are used for countable nouns and not often for uncountable nouns. So you have to be careful with those articles and study those well and make sure that when you are using a noun, you need to know those rules for articles, okay? So the other little words that matter a lot are those prepositions. And there's three different kinds of prepositions. We have prepositions of time, we have prepositions of place, and we have prepositions of movement. So again, fluent students come to me and they will say, I went to the store at the weekend. That is not the correct use of the preposition at. And it's not the correct use of the prepositional phrase. You need to say on the weekend. I went to the store on the weekend. Okay? And we only use on the weekend. It's never in the week. It's never at the week. So we have to learn those prepositional phrases. We need to know placement. We need to know the difference between in and at. What's the difference between in and at? Well, to be really fast with this, let's think of I am at school. School has many parts. School can be the gymnasium. School can be the cafeteria, the classroom, the principal's office, right? You can be in any one of those places, okay? But when we say, I am in the principal's office, we can't get much more specific than that, okay? So at is a little bit more general than in. In is a bit more specific, okay? And we use in always for a country, neighborhood, and a city, okay? I live in the United States. I do not live at the United States, and I do not live on the United States. I live in the United States. Okay, place and movement. I often hear this is a very difficult one for students, the difference between to and from. 2 and 4, 2 and 4, the difference between 2 and 4. You've got to learn that. It's tricky. It's tricky. I know. It's sometimes tricky to teach. If I don't study it first, I can't teach it. Okay, let's talk about the order of adjectives. This is the order that adjectives go in. You can put all of those adjectives before a noun and have a very nice, proper sentence. But if you put one of them out of order, it will not sound good. Okay, so learning this list of where adjectives go will help you when you say, oh, the girls have beautiful, shiny, long hair. Beautiful, shiny, long, blonde hair. Huh, okay. Well, how does that go in a sentence? Beautiful, shiny, long, blonde hair. Learn to master that to make your sentences longer, and that will help you. Even if you only are going to say 2 red cars, you have to know that the number comes before the color. 2 red cars. So that is mastering this list. Order of adjectives, another trick of English. Okay, Camila says, yes, movement. I always confuse these prepositions. Yes, yes, we give a gift to the girl. We do not give a gift for the girl, okay? Yeah, those are difficult. So we have to, those are things that you should really pay attention to and study more. That's my suggestion, is to study these particular ones more so that your language sounds better. Okay, reduction. Reduction is my big thing. Okay, so we're running out of time here. I have, I think, 14 minutes. 14 minutes. So you're fluent in English. You can carry on a conversation with someone. You can understand your teacher. You've mastered all of the grammar. Why can't I understand native speakers when they're talking with each other? Why can't I understand TV shows? Everyone thinks I need to study idioms. I need to learn all the English idioms. No. No one knows all the English idioms. I don't know all the English idioms. Teacher Karen doesn't. No one knows. Okay, if we have teacher test prep NAS, see? Maybe she does. You have to ask her if she knows all the idioms. She does lessons on them. There was a live lesson from her from April 13th. You can check out idioms. But I don't think anyone knows all the idioms, and idioms change from country to country. But what I like to focus on students understanding even more than idioms is reduction. 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 What's reduction? Okay. So if you think about your own language and how you speak it, there are some words and phrases that you use that kind of blend together. You blend together. Okay. And when you're speaking in your own language, you know the language. So you speak it quickly, fluently, easily, and you blend some of those words together. This is called reduction. Okay? And so for someone who's learning the language, we need, for example, a new English teacher, a new English speaker. I'm going to show them this and I'm going to say, what is it? What is it? And they're going to say, it is a tree. And this is how I would teach them. It is a tree. Yes, it is a tree. And we're going to say each sound very carefully, right? Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of a reduction. We're going to say It's a tree. So I'm going from 4 sounds to 3. It's a tree. It's a tree. Okay? Now I'm going to say, it's a tree. Now I've gone from 4 sounds to 2. It's a tree. It's a tree. It's a tree. Okay? And so this is the huge problem with understanding other native speakers of English, because we use reductions. It's part of our speech. It's part of every language. And if you're not an English teacher that is carefully making sure that your words are understood, you're not going to be able to be understood by somebody who's learning the language. And I'm going to give you some more examples, but Carol mentioned, Carol says that films are very difficult to understand, and now because we're taking idioms and reductions, putting them all together and saying, go watch a movie in English. It'll help you learn. Okay, so and we're not focusing on the part that we have reductions and idioms in those movies, and that's what's causing you not to be able to learn from them, not to be able to understand them. So we'll talk about how we can work with that in a minute. And Camila says to understand the accents. Yes, so in English, we have Australian accents, we have the UK's accents, we have American accents, Canadians have an accent, Irish have an accent, and they're all very different, and they have all different words that they use for different things, okay? And even in the United States, and this is also true for every language, I learned this in Ecuador, the people on the coast speak differently from the people in the mountains, and they speak differently from the people in the rainforest. So we have all these different accents as well. That's why one of the big things about being an English teacher is having a neutral accent so that you can be understood by your students better. So let's look at some more reductions. Now that you know what reductions are, maybe that has helped you understand why you can't understand English even though you are fluent, you can speak, you can understand your teacher, you can ace all your English tests, but you just can't understand TV shows. This is why. Speed, and idioms and reductions. So when we talk to each other, we don't say, did you eat dinner today? Did you eat dinner today? No, we say, did you eat dinner today? Did you eat dinner today? So you're going to hear that in a movie or a conversation, and not did you. You'll hear Jew. Okay? And then if we go on and we add the word go, did you go? Did you go shopping today? Did you go to work today? That's what you'll hear. Did you go to the store? Did you go to school? Did you go to class? Why didn't your teacher see you? I got a letter from your teacher saying that you didn't go. Did you go? Did you go? Okay? And then jeet. So here we're saying, did you eat dinner? Did you eat dinner? That's a 4 sounds in a sentence. And we reduce it to Jew eat dinner, Jew eat dinner, to 3 sounds, to 2. Jeet dinner, Jeet dinner. Yeah, that's it. Jeet dinner. That's what you'll hear from a native speaker on a movie or in a conversation. Did you go to the restaurant? Did you eat there? Okay, and you're not even going to really hear that because it's not as pronounced as what I'm doing. It's just it blends right into the conversation, and you're sitting there and you've heard did you eat dinner yet? Did you go to the restaurant? You're hearing all those sounds, and you hear dinner yet? Dinner? Did you go to the restaurant? Dinner? Did you go? So you're reducing all of those sounds into these 1 and 2 sounds. And so you're sitting there saying, what did you say? And you'll never understand it unless you start studying reductions, okay? Here we have, did you have? Did you have? We can take those 3 words and reduce them down to jav, Did you have breakfast? Did you have breakfast today? Did you have lunch? Ah, did you have English class? Okay. And then we have what are you? What are you? What are you doing? What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? I'm studying English. Yeah, Carol, Camille, yeah, this is like one of those unknown, kind of not very popular subjects, and I don't understand why, because when I discovered it, I said, oh, I have to tell everybody. I have to tell everybody about reductions, and it's in every language. Every language. Think about your own. Is this true? Is it true? Do you have reductions in your language? I bet you do, right? And you will advance much faster if you start studying these. And there are lessons online available for this. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to take and the word and. You're going to hear it as n. And then we're going to take the word. Remember, we learned about how to change 20 and 30. So now you're going to hear. We're going to reduce everything in this sentence. Are you ready for this? All right. Ready? Here we go. It's a 20 and a 30. It's a 20 and a 30. So you hear how I've changed the sound of the TH, and I've reduced the itsa, and I've reduced the N, the and. It's a 20 and a 30. So a sentence that you may not have ever understood before, now you understand. There's a reduction, there's a change of sound, and there's two reductions. Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you, Eduardo. Okay, reductions in phrases. So now we're going to take all these phrases that you have to learn in English. You also now have to learn to reduce them. Thank you. Sorry. Now you have more work. Now you have more work to do. Okay, so you're going to say, I want to, I wanna. I'm going to, I'm gonna. Now, these ones are very common. You probably already know them if you're an advanced speaker. And this is probably just something that you learned. You didn't realize that it was reduction, but there are many, 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 many more phrases. But this was just an introduction to actually the next part, which is reduction plus phrases plus changed letter sounds. So you're going to take a lot of, and you're going to say a lotta. You're going to say outa. I wrote a letter. Okay, so there you go. I am out of time. Unfortunately, I am out of time. So to learn some tips about it, you will have to book a class with me. Remember, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a long process. It takes 4 to 10 years to learn academic English. And it takes 6 months to 2 years to learn social English, just to be able to communicate, but 4 to 10 to be academic. So it's a marathon. It's a long time. Okay, so just understand that and try to work with that. And I love you all. This has been a great lesson. Thank you all. And for more, please look up my profile, look at those other teachers I mentioned. They have some really great tips for you. And I hope to see you some other time. Thank you. Goodbye.